Be silent, or you'll be removed immediately. No, there's no more warnings. You are out if you shout out.
Okay, so I'm going to read the amendment for you, Mr. DeLeon. Okay, so this is item 21, and the motion is that it be amended to, and then there are two things, authorize the city engineer and designee to prepare an up to $5 million grant application for the El Pueblo beautification project, which will implement streetscape beautification elements in the region in and surrounding El Pueblo, and instruct the city engineer and designee to report back if the city is awarded
Hello,
the
everyone.
grant.
What up, everybody?
Authority to accept the grant
Let's
award
go. It's already
and
getting
confirm
heated.
Any additional required
They haven't
match
started yet.
or front funding. presented by
But people
you
are already
and
starting to
second.
yell as they're trying to just talk. So
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
yeah, let's get it. The racist was talking, so they were screaming over the racist, of course. For just the moment that
Yes, Mr. President.
I don't know, he was talking for
Item
10
number
seconds
13
and
for comments
started going in on
and a
him.
separate vote, please.
Need this
Very good,
shirt?
thank
I don't
you.
make
Any
these
other specials,
anymore.
members?
These shirts are all done.
All right. With those specials, Mr. Clerk, what is now before us that we can vote on?
Mr. President, the council may now vote
Look
on
at the
items
bent ears
2
on that guy.
through
Look at his
4,
face diapers pulling his ears off.
6, and 7.
He's
All right,
gonna have
those
some
items
fucked up
are now
ears.
before
He's
us.
gonna have his clean
I see
face,
no
I guess,
members
with
wishing to be
fucked up
heard, so
ears.
let's go ahead and
He's gonna have some
open the roll.
cauliflower ears like a wrestler.
Close the roll and tabulate the votes.
Fuck, by the time he's done, things all busted and bent. All right, let me pack up my
12
clean,
eyes.
the clean bottle.
Mr. President, there is a request to send item 8 forthwith.
Without objection, that'll be the order. Mr. Price, number 17?
7.
7. Number 7 forthwith, that'll be the
Number
order.
7 forthwith. Paul, thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate you. Thank you, Paul Stiegelmar.
All right, let's move on now for.
Look at his
Let's
face.
move on now to the closed session items, and I'd like to call on Councilmember Blumenfield,
He's
Chair of the
already
Budget,
angry.
Finance, and Innovation Committee, for recommendations on those items.
I don't know if that was a great
Yeah,
tie
these were all
choice.
items that were
Orange
considered by the Budget
tie?
and Finance Committee.
I don't know, bro.
And,
This
I think
ain't
we could deal with
Halloween.
them in open session. Recommendations are as listed.
I don't think that was a good combo. Blue,
Very
black,
good.
orange.
Do any members wish to call
Okay.
any of those items special for consideration in closed session? If
Thank you,
there are
Bureau
none,
Beast.
Let's go ahead and read out the recommendations, and then we'll go ahead and vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. For item 23, in the case entitled Ashley Mitchell versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $300,000 in settlement. For item 24, in the case entitled Tina Rios versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend up to $887,500
That's true, Sky.
in settlement. In the case entitled Stuart Anand, Michael Drass versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend up to $4,502,653.47 in settlement, comprised of $2,251,326.74 due in fiscal year 2022-23 and $2,251,326.73 in fiscal year 2023-24. For item 26, in the case entitled Catherine Diamond versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $4,500,000 in settlement. For item 27, in the case entitled Shelley Cook versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $1,650,000 in settlement. For item 28, in the case entitled Michelle Poulos et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al.
Yeah, that's their
there is a
virtual
recommendation to
signaling.
expend up
Their
to
masks.
$2,500,000
That's how they identify each
in
other.
settlement.
This is how they
For
tell
item 29,
us
in the case
who they
entitled
are.
Jose
And I love
Bernardo
it.
Becerra Sotres
I know to
et al.
avoid you.
Versus City of Los Angeles et al. There is a recommendation to expend up to $747,000 and
Turtle, he's doing good.
$747,600
He was actually here.
in settlement.
I come in the room,
For
set
item
everything
30,
up,
in the case
lights go on, and he
entitled
leaves.
John T. Kelly, ASO Best Laundry versus City of Los Angeles et al. There is
People,
a
thank you for
recommendation to
28
expend up
months.
to
You rock, people.
$221,472.72 in settlement. For item 31, in the case entitled Isabel
Bigger the mass, the
Castellanos
woker they
et
are.
al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al. There is a recommendation
You ain't
to
gonna tell
expend
me
up
that,
to
man, Injun. Tell him.
$7,500,000 in settlement.
Apparently, he's never read the press release of 3M's
Thank you.
M-
Those items
N95
are
mask,
now
which,
before
by the way,
us.
that's not an N95 mask
Members,
either.
Do any members want to be heard on any of those
So that's
items, or
stopping
hold
less
them?
particulates than
I
an
see none,
N95
so Let's
mask.
go ahead and
So, yeah.
open the roll.
And what do you think the masks are doing that you get on the corner from the homeboy that's selling them for $2 a piece? What do you think those masks are doing? Absolutely nothing.
13 eyes.
Thank you very much.
It's a
If I
fashion statement at that
didn't-
point,
if you
ladies and
didn't
gentlemen.
already order it.
So stop
item
with the
8,
sham.
Should be sent forthwith without objection. That will be the order.
Yeah,
All right.
Dollar Tree mask.
And with that,
Those are
members,
the ones
we're
that'll save
now
your life.
Going to proceed to presentations, and the first
The same morons
that
that
we
thought there was a
have
curve
is
to
by
flatten.
a special
Because they were
guest.
told there was
I'd
a
like
curve
to
to flatten.
invite
Did they
come
flatten
to
that
the
curve?
Desk, the superintendent of the Los Angeles
Fauci?
Unified
Where's that guy at
School
now?
District, Alberto Carvalho.
Counting that cash.
Superintendent, welcome. Welcome back to our chambers, sir, and congratulations on the closure of the bargaining that you've had with both with your with the teachers and with the classified employees. It's really a historic moment, I think, for the district. And
So who are they honoring
we're
now?
Glad to have you here to be able to continue your semi-regular reporting to the City Council about issues with our schools. And so very pleased to welcome you back.
CHP hat only goes on when there's a
Mr.
chase.
President and council
Greg?
members, it's a pleasure to return back to City Hall. I arrived in Los Angeles
LAUSD
about 14 months
superintendent,
ago,
he
with
looks
a
like
bold plan
fucking
to
Don
re-energize
Corleone.
and elevate the potential of our community's youth through the power of public education. We
Doing
are
a great
nowhere
job,
near
man. LAUSD
being
just
done,
rocks.
But we have made significant progress.
In fact, your
A number
teachers
of
were just
accomplishments
striking,
have
I
been
don't
up
know, a week
tonight.
ago.
And that's exactly what I'd like to present to you today. The business of education, yes, it rests with the school district, it rests with the school board, but good, effective school systems across the country benefit from partnerships
Alberto Moose. Do
with
people still use Moose?
other governmental entities and community-based organizations. That is why I was here a year ago.
Of course it's a nice suit. We paid for it.
We have benefited
think he's gonna buy the
from
cheap one?
partnerships with the city of Los Angeles. I have met many of you directly here in City Hall or throughout the community. We have interacted via phone calls or Zooms. And the work to be done over the next year and beyond, trust me, will be tougher than the work that has been done over the past year. Economic conditions are certainly uncertain. The volatility of the state's fiscal position is uncertain. And obviously, our kids need rapid, swift acceleration, particularly considering the effect of the pandemic on their academic achievement. Since February, we have launched a very aggressive 100-day plan, which basically laid out the foundation for
Yeah, I
then
saw it, Cass.
the adoption of the first strategic plan approved by
It's
the
only
board
6
in
minutes
over
long.
a
It wasn't
decade.
very long.
We did that. This is a strategic plan that will lay out the work that usually is implemented over 5 years, but we promised to do it over 4 years.
And there was one person in there, not
We have
two.
done something that this district has rarely done, which
Besides
is
the driver.
a massive realignment of our structures. That realignment reduced overhead, reduced administrative spending,
He's doing
and
tan
provided
face?
an opportunity to reinvest those dollars
He's a
back
suntan-
into the schools.
Do they still have
We
those?
launched a number of
like
exciting
tanning beds?
initiatives, a benefit
still
to
a
our
thing?
workforce and to our students.
Like people going to tanning
And
beds?
we launched a number of education compacts with cities, municipalities in the greater Los Angeles area, and we are currently in the process of negotiating one such compact with the city of Los Angeles. I believe the clicker's not working. Maybe somebody.
Of course
can
it's not.
assist.
Nothing there works.
It's on.
That's how they do it, Billy. Nothing fucking
so.
works. Shit, yeah.
So
like-
with that said, let's go right to the most important
Graduation
thing.
rate? I
You know,
highly
public
doubt it's almost
education, our
88%.
success is measured by and large based on
Bullshit.
academic achievement. Our strategic plan promises to elevate the performance,
maybe
particularly
it
in
plans
reading and mathematics,
to elevate it
graduation
to
rates,
that.
and post-secondary placement, as well as the social and emotional support of students to unprecedented levels.
It's 290s.
It is
funny.
our goal to obliterate the learning loss accumulated during the pandemic, which took us back to about 6 years in terms
Spray
of
tans
performance
now, huh?
in just 2 years, and then accelerate Los Angeles performance to the top tier of the country. This is doable.
No. Don't make that mistake, Laura. Has nothing to do with that first word in your sentence. Has to do with these disgusting scumbags who pushed that fake bullshit. Okay? That closed businesses down. That still, to this day, make you fucking have vaccine status to go in and even talk to these scumbag son of a bitches for 1 minute. So no. It's those people that still wear the mask and still contribute into the bullshit, who feed into the garbage to keep it still going. That's the problem. That is why that your kid may have failed in school. That is why your suntan bar or your muffin shop went down, because you were forced to close your doors by these scam artists, shamdemic motherfuckers who all made money while you were forced to close down. So don't think about that. It has nothing to do with any about science or anything about any of that. Okay? Nothing to do with any of that. Okay?
For Los Angeles Unified, 8th grade
Don't
students
trip.
in reading on the national scale
Kids were the pawns.
increased their performance by 9 points. The only district in the country out of urban districts to do so. This year also, we ushered in 39 schools being recognized on the basis of national merit awards. That is a significant increase over previous years. And we have a number of new processes to identify and dramatically accelerate not only all schools, but through an equity lens, accelerate the 100 lowest performing, most fragile schools in our district.
See, what they like to do, what he's not telling you really is what they like to do is they find the schools with the lowest testing scores. And then they pump money into them to get these kids back up to par. And then when they're back up to par, they snatch all that money away and take it and give it to the next school. And that's how they do it.
From district to district, from zip code to zip code, there are incredible disparities in terms of the quality of the physical infrastructure that our students learn in. That is not acceptable. That is why we decided to accelerate the delivery of projects. And you see in this slide that we have dedicated $6 billion of active investment in projects across Los Angeles Unified. More than $1 billion of that $6 billion of projects underway will be completed during the 22-23 school year.
$6 billion.
More than 900 projects are actively under construction, repairs, modernization across 1,000 schools.
And you know what, real quickly, because this is just, standard, facts for them to put up or whatever bullshit statistics. You know what also ruined kids in the last 2 years? Has nothing to do with any diseases or anything else. You know what it has to do with? Teachers that take their ideology about themselves and their whatever their sexual proclivities may be and sit there and not teach the curriculum that they were supposed to be taught and paid to teach those kids, and they're busy teaching them about being gay or whatever it may be. Well, I'm gay. I'm not Mr. Damon Heller. I'm Mr. Golf Ball. Okay, so again, when I went to school, right, I had plenty. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. I had a teacher named Mr. DeBaldo. He was a gay man, very great teacher. Now, he wasn't great because he was gay. He was great because he was a great teacher who fucking cared. And you know what? We all knew he was gay, but he never said it. He didn't have a rainbow flag. He didn't tell you about, hey, come into the corner if you're feeling funny. Let me talk to you. None of that. He was a drama teacher. He was a fantastic drama teacher, and I had him for stage crew because I was in the stage crew. I do all the lighting and the electrical, the audio side and setting up, props on the stage for the drama class that he ran. He ran both. And again, I wouldn't have liked him any more or less if he were straight. It made no difference to me. He came to school, he taught us the way he should have and was paid to do, and he went home with his own life. Because you know why? His own life is his business. Now all of a sudden you got all these teachers making their personal business the kids' business. Kids should know nothing about that teacher's everyday life. Nothing. It means nothing to them. It should never mean it. In fact, there's not enough minutes in the day for you to be teaching these kids the curriculum, much less sitting there wasting your time teaching them about how you feel about other human beings and what you feel your pronoun should be. Fuck your pronoun. You're a fucking teacher. Teach the kids what you were supposed to be taught, not being gay or anything else like that. That has no spot No spot in school unless maybe you are a teacher that is going to teach sex ed. And if someone comes to you and you're teaching them sex ed and they say, hey, I feel different, can you come talk to me? You know what you do then? You don't go talk to them and tell them anything you need to do. You say, you know what? Well, who's your counselor? You go talk to the counselor because that's what counselors are for. They're there to counsel. You're there to teach. They're there to counsel. So Laura and everybody else who thinks it's the C word couldn't be more further from the goddamn truth. Look at what it really motherfucking is. I hate to break it to you, but there is thousands of kids in the thousands of teachers in the LAUSD that are mentally deranged idiots that are teaching your kids that same bullshit that I was just telling you.
We launched Baby to Learn, a cool initiative that meets parents at the place of birth of their children and empowers parents with the resources, with the know-how, with information about healthcare services, as well as childcare at the earliest possible stage.
And just so we're real clear, we're not talking about anything being against gay people or anything like that. I love gay people. You know, I do. They're great folks. But there's a difference between pushing your ideologies and your thoughts and your life on others. Okay? Especially little young. You know, it's one thing to talk to me and I can understand what you're going through. It's a whole nother to talk to a 14-year-old who's kind of confused about life, maybe. You know what I mean?
The one-to-one solution, meaning one device for every single
I don't care
child,
what I sound like,
and
Enrico. You're still
100%
sitting here watching the
productivity
trigger.
for every single
And what?
student, so that learning now can take place.
Are you mad 'cause it's the
anytime,
truth?
Anywhere in
Are
our
you mad,
community.
Enrico? Because it's the truth?
A major
Did I hit
concern
something
for
inside?
us has been school safety. I know it is a
You mad?
concern for every one
You
of
mad,
you.
bro?
That is why we have led
Leave the
across
kids alone,
country
Oscar.
in dealing with
Just
the
teach
opioid
them
crisis.
without being
the first
just
district
teach
in
them
the
the
country to bring
curriculum.
Narcan into our schools, peer-to-peer mentoring programs to prevent the spread, educational programs for parents and students, reporting lines
now we got
for anonymous
access to
information
Narcan
that
in
will
the
prevent
schools?
the infiltration of our schools
not a good sign.
with these opioids.
But I guess it needs to be done.
And more recently, also empowering students in a legal way of
Save
bringing
lives.
Narcan with them. We've increased
You're mad you're not gay?
community-focused
Well,
public safety
can always be
by
gay.
launching digital tools for the reporting and early detection of threats to schools.
Thank you, Laura.
Environmental safety is key for us. Greening of schools.
That's it, Catherine.
Good air quality. That is why we deployed the largest scale air monitoring tools across this district, bigger than any other city across America.
Air quality?
Where every single
Really?
school right now has real-time information
Sensors?
regarding air quality in Los Angeles.
Air quality sensors.
And last but not least,
Wow.
and this is
Okay.
a work in progress, that we are partnering with your city, with our city, with your city council, is ensuring safe passage to school. Many of our children fail to go to school out of fear of crossing a street.
Stop it.
That should not be the condition our kids face in our community.
Stop it. They fear to go to school because it's not safe.
We're big on
They're
health
not getting
and wellness.
taught well.
That is why this
That's
year
why.
we dramatically invested in psychiatric social workers,
They're scared
counselors,
to cross the street.
support staff to our children, but also support elements to our workforce. We recently launched
Hate to break it to them, but kids blindly run into the street all the time. And that's why they get hit by cars.
Hospital to provide
Fuck outta here.
ready-to-go in-school telehealth opportunities for our kids and their siblings. We have elevated school nutrition. 73% of kids in Los Angeles live at or below the poverty level. Many of them depend on the meals they obtain at school to make it
Get
through
Don
the day.
Corleone out of here
That is
already,
why
man.
we serve 107 million meals per year. But now what we serve is healthy. It is better for kids. It is locally sourced. And that is something we will continue to do.
School food's
We're
healthy,
doing
huh?
our part
Since
in
when?
terms of sustainability efforts.
Microwavable
Fighting climate
burritos,
change. That is why
tater
we launched
tots,
aggressive
pizza.
efforts
Real healthy.
to ensure the electrification of our bus fleet. Now having
Hysterical.
more electrical buses on the streets than any other school district in the nation, with plans to acquire dozens more going into next year.
50
We
million
will
for school.
unite ourselves
Look at
with your
50
efforts
million
in
just
seeking
for
federal and
landscaping.
state
50 million.
vouchers to offset the prices of these EV vehicles.
50
We're also
million.
electrifying charging stations, converting typical bus yards into electrified bus yards, not only for our buses, but for other large-scale vehicles across our community. We continue to green our schools. In fact, this year we invested $50 million in greening efforts across Los Angeles Unified. And obviously we're doing this with full awareness of the volatility, the instability of state funding for education. In fact, depending on the day, the deficit is anywhere between $27 and $40 billion. The state's reserves are only at $27 billion.
Only at
So the future
$27 billion.
is not guaranteed. That is why we have improved our
The state's reserves are only at $27 billion. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We only got $27 billion.
reserve for the purpose of collective bargaining.
$27
Now, I know
billion
that
with a
The
B.
Mother Church, also known as the LA Times, only tells the truth. And I know that for the better part of a year, I was criticized for stashing money in
course.
reserves. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, of course
And
you
the
were.
dynamic through the collective
Stashing
bargaining
money.
process was one that was expected. Give us the money now. We needed to ensure that we would go through a number of reorganizations, refinancing old debt, improving credit rating for Los Angeles Unified in just 1 year with all 4 credit rating agencies.
Why do I care about your credit
Cutting
rating?
costs.
Wait.
eliminating-
Why would anybody give a fuck about your credit rating? You got $27 billion surplus. Why do you need credit? Why do we care about your credit rating? You're a school, right? Why would we give a fuck about your credit rating? You're not buying anything except for the money that we send you and Lotto sends you, which is still our money anyways, $27 billion of it.
Recently,
Get the fuck out of
after
here,
a
dude. This dude is such a
12-hour
gangster.
marathon bargaining session,
Fucking
a
Don
contract with
Corleone
UTLA.
over here,
that
dude.
means 70% of our workforce is now under tentative contract. I promise you, within 2 weeks, 100% of our workforce,
I couldn't tell you, lady, Miss
74,000
Coppertone.
strong, will be under contract.
Makes
Without
no
passing
sense.
on one single dollar of additional health care costs to our workforce. For SEIU,
They must be
a
borrowing money.
20% increase over 4 years, plus an additional $2 per hour in the 24-25 school year for UTLA. For UTLA, a 21% increase over a 3-year period.
Let's get out of here, dude.
In
Come on, let
addition
us talk.
to a reduction of class size across all of Los Angeles Unified by 2 pupils
This is live, Jen.
over the next 2 years. Additional support for students with disabilities, English language learners, recently arrived international students, psychiatric social workers, a reduction of counselor ratios with students. All of this we were able to negotiate over this past year at the right time, at
All he's
the
doing is
right
patting himself on the
pace.
back. We're doing this
In
better.
addition
We're
to
doing that
we
better.
earmarked an additional $1.9 billion to accelerate student learning across our district.
Look what else we did.
We did so by identifying the 100 lowest performing schools with the highest levels of chronic absenteeism, and we dedicated extreme funding in exchange for extreme accountability. I am putting myself on the line for those schools.
Yeah.
Those schools report directly to me, and I'll report our progress to our community and to our school board.
I want to see the difference
last
between when you started
reorganization-
that and now, buddy. Show
And
me
we
the
have
statistics
done
for
a
that.
number of them.
I want to see the
Eliminated
tardies. I want to see
900
everything.
positions right out of Beaudry, creating $40 million of additional investments back into our schools. But of course, we have our focus on recovery efforts, providing additional instruction, acceleration days, a summer school program last year that served over 100,000 students, and we will do it again this year.
But the reason they went to summer school is because they didn't pass when you wanted them to pass during the regular year because you weren't teaching them. Maybe you were teaching them about fucking genderism.
Schools are the safest
Maybe
places.
they wouldn't have had to go to high
We hired
fucking
this year
summer
alone
school.
in excess of 2,000
Nobody
teachers,
goes to summer
and
school
we
just for the
began
fuck of it,
this
ladies and
school year
gentlemen.
with 0 teacher
Sorry.
vacancies, the first
Sorry.
in over 15 years. We will do it
Sorry.
again going into next year. We do not have a talent scarcity. We have a talent distribution problem. We found thousands of individuals, hundreds of individuals with credentials, but not teaching in a classroom. Every one of them telling me how much they love kids. My
I'm
response,
sure they do love kids.
Let's love kids closer to where they are and that is the schoolhouse.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you should just
We
like the
continue to
kids and not
invest
love them.
disproportionately in struggling schools. I am proud to announce that after a lackluster performance in terms of tutoring services available for students last year, with less than 9% of the students taking advantage of these services, this year, 32% of our students are taking advantage of high-dosage tutoring. That is how you accelerate learning.
Again, if you didn't, if
Lastly,
they were taught properly, they
enrollment
wouldn't
and
need
attendance are
tutoring.
important. I cannot teach the absent kid. As a result of concerns specific to violence, safe passage, asthmatic conditions, health conditions, many of our kids, and by the way, misinformation and disinformation associated with COVID, many of our kids don't go to school on a regular basis. I myself knock on doors. We've knocked on 9,000 doors, hundreds
Sure
of
you did.
administrators all taking to the streets
9,000
to bring
doors.
those
They
kids
counted
back
them.
to school.
That's
There's a falsehood in this community
$899.99.
as well that we cannot shy away from.
Fuck outta
We
here.
thought all of these kids that we lost as a result of the declining enrollment had left our community, had left our state. Guess what? I have found them in homeless shelters right around the corner. Over the past 2 to 3 years, never being in school, without a system that finds kids. How is that possible? We have found them on the streets, knocking on doors, speaking with parents of kids who were chronically absent. They told us, thank you for being here, but guess what? Right around the corner, there are families whose kids never went to school. And we brought hundreds, if not thousands, of kids back into the school system. We will partner with the city to ensure that there are no lost kids in Los Angeles. Unacceptable. We are improving attendance. Despite all odds, chronic absenteeism is down by 11% compared to last year.
I wanna see the
This
audit.
is doable
You're
work.
telling me, but show me. I want to see it,
Now,
Alberto.
Why am I really here?
Just because you want to hear
I'm
yourself
here
talk.
because 74,000 teachers, support staff, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, principals, and everybody else cannot educate the children of Los Angeles by themselves. Great communities have great libraries, great parks, great schools as a result of community partnerships. And that's what I'm here asking you for, is to continue and to evolve the great partnerships we already have to a new level. We're looking for new partnerships that usher in a new era of community school parks where the parent, the consumer, the taxpayer cannot know the difference between the green spaces being city-owned or school-owned. What difference does it make?
It's the same shit
Jurisdiction
anyways.
matters not to me. What matters to me is customer satisfaction, is the well-being of kids, is the education.
Well, we figured out last year that it didn't matter whether the school was the school because it got overruled by the other person you were just talking about. And if you didn't comply and bend over, or your kids didn't, they didn't get to go. So what the fuck does it matter?
Of our kids, helping them negotiate and navigate the intricacies
One is
of
the
our
other.
school system. And yes, helping them navigate our city, understanding their rights, but also their responsibilities. We need your help. We have 300 crossing guards currently deployed into our community.
Well, you have more homeless,
every month,
Enrico, if you don't teach
We
the
get
kids.
reports of kids or
You want to
adults
stop
being struck by
homelessness?
vehicles
Start
near
with the
schools.
future.
There are currently 200 vacant positions.
So I was talking to you about
We need
last
to fill
night.
those. We need your help. We have a terrific partnership
Tony,
with
'cause
the
he likes to hear
library,
himself.
one of the best libraries in the world. We need to continue to provide access to our kids, every one of our children empowered with a library card. Transportation is the key
He's the used car salesman.
to assets in our community. I keep talking about the fact that I love the Getty Museum. The Getty is free to get into, but the Getty is not free to get to. If you are in Watts or Boyle Heights or Southeast LA or in the Valley, how do you get to the Getty? That is why
How do you do it if you're in
the
Hollywood?
continuation of the
Same
two-year
way on
pilot
a
program
bus.
that empowered our students with your assistance, with Metro passes, needs to continue.
Yeah, bus pass. Metro.
your help.
Bus pass.
In promoting, disseminating, and urging your workforce to becoming mentors to the 27,000 kids in our community who need a voice in their minds and in their hearts. We need to partner more aggressively in joint use of facilities and the electrification of our fleets, but also
See, what he's not also telling you is the History, Science, and Naturalization Museum is right there in South. It's on Figueroa. Actually, it's right next to the Coliseum, which is in the heart of South LA. So again, if you're in Beverly Hills, how do you get over there? Take the bus. Okay, I hate to break it to you, but there's fucking museums everywhere. Okay, the La Brea Tar Pits, Mid-City. Okay, there's that one. How do you get there? Take the goddamn bus. They're fucking everywhere. Hate to break that to you, buddy.
That is still the rule. We are a system on the move, not without challenge. You read the headlines.
Train would be tough because a
But I
lot of
promise
trains
you this,
don't go everywhere.
In short order,
This Coppertone.
Los Angeles Unified will be
Our
the best
infrastructure for
urban
that isn't
school
great.
district.
But buses
in
go
America.
everywhere. You
We
can
have the
find a bus.
potential, we have the skill set, we have the resources. The only question is, do we have the will set to get it done? I'm here because I believe we collectively do.
Yeah, there's so much going on.
I close by
Thankfully, it's
reflecting
closing.
on one interaction I had with a child in our community. A child whose mother came to the board to appeal against an expulsion from the school system.
Okay, so he was thrown out.
It would have been very easy for me to consent to the law and the rule that would have expelled this child. A child, by the way, who was gifted.
So why was he
A
expelled?
child whose
He was gifted.
mom was doing the very best for her. A child who, when she addressed the board, conveyed her future dreams and aspirations.
Sounds kind of sus.
We agreed and gave this family a break, bending the rule itself.
What a saint you are.
A day later, I'm picking up coffee at Starbucks. This lady comes up to me and she says, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "I don't remember the name, but I remember you. You're the mother of the young lady who was about to be expelled." She says, "I am." Then she proceeded to tell me she did not have a chance to tell the whole story. Much of what that child had gone through, perhaps somewhat contributing to the issues that put her in the position she was in, didn't start at the schoolhouse. She said a month earlier, she was living on the streets and then in a car in Los Angeles, blocks away from the school she attended. And then she said, "Thank you. Thank you for not destroying my daughter's dream." We are about building dreams, Mr. President. Whether it is that young lady or the 540,000 currently learn in our schools, we are the Dream Factory. And that is why I'm humbly before you asking for your continued support and partnership. Thank you very much.
You get no claps from me.
Thank you very much, Superintendent
Zero claps,
Carvalho,
Superintendent.
for an
I was a part of
uplifting and
LAUSD my entire motherfucking life. In fact, I never went to any schools that were not LAUSD. And they weren't good then. And I'm sure they ain't much better now.
government. Obviously, the city government has no direct role in the administration or operation of our schools. But as you pointed out, there are any number of areas where a continuing strong partnership is going to be vitally important to the well-being of our young people. And I want to
get
also
some
say that
tears.
it goes both ways. For example, the work that you did in closing these collective bargaining agreements and uplifting the 75,000 people that work for
Uplifting 'em.
LAUSD has a dramatic impact on our larger economy, since you
Of
are
course,
one
it's
of
all
the
about the
biggest
cash.
employers
We
in
can't
all of
grift
Los
unless you
Angeles,
get those
and
people working.
most
Got
of
it.
those employees live here in the city.
Thank you for
so
continuing our
that
grift.
makes a
Appreciate
difference
you,
that
bro.
goes well beyond the boundaries of the schools. What you've done on sustainability, this is an issue you and I have talked about a lot and will continue to. LAUSD is the single largest customer of the Department of Water and Power. And so the work
That's
that you
where the credit
continue to
rating
do
is.
towards electrification.
The credit rating is for
really
the
important in us
utilities.
meeting our,
So they're
our
using more
larger
water
climate
and
goals
power
and
than
everything.
anybody
So,
in the state. Makes
much
sense. A lot of
still to be
LAUSD
discussed, but
schools.
members,
So that's where our credit
I'd
rating
like to
comes
see
in,
if
ladies and
there are
gentlemen.
any
Didn't know
members
why
who
they'd need it,
have any
and
questions
that's
for
where it
the
is.
Superintendent. Councilmember Price.
So, yeah. And apparently their credit's pretty bad if they had to get it back up.
Really appreciate your report. As
You don't gotta get it up if it's already
President Corcoran suggested, it was informative and inspiring. And so we just appreciate your willingness to.
Somebody got bad
being
credit.
very,
You don't got bad credit unless you're bad.
difference.
LAUSD.
During the past, what are the innovations that
LAUSD don't pay its
you've been
bills
responsible
apparently.
for the past year or so? This past holiday, you had, I think, a holiday academy or something, an opportunity for kids to sort of catch up. I know there were some mixed results.
Kids to catch
in
up.
that
Why do
effort.
they need to catch
What'd you
up? They
learn?
wouldn't catch up
And
or
are you planning
need
to do
to if
anything
they were
similar to that
right online
going
during the
forward?
regular year.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great
Got
to
it.
see you, City Council Price. Dear friend, we've had many conversations, and I appreciate your support and your advice. Those were acceleration days. There are three things that research indicates will accelerate kids beyond the pandemic impacts that put kids who were already in crisis prior to the pandemic into a deeper, darker crisis, particularly in reading and mathematics. Nationally,
Lee looks
there's a
like Grady.
20-year loss in terms of achievement. Right here in Los Angeles, when you look at Smarter Balance, which is a state's accountability indicator, about 6 to 7 years worth of loss, meaning kids are performing today par with the performance 6 to 7 years ago. Tutoring works, high dosage tutoring, small ratios. Summer school works. And then an extension of the school day, school year also works.
Does kind of look like Grady, no joke.
The acceleration days was a means by which we scheduled days outside
Where's
of
Bubba and the
regular
rest
school
of the
calendar,
fools?
targeting the kids
Where's
who need
Aunt
it the
Esther?
most.
Where's he at right now?
Now, I've used acceleration days in my previous positions. I would celebrate if I
Man,
would
I thought
get
you were
5,000
closing,
kids
bro.
to show up for an acceleration day. That means during vacation, right? Spring break or winter break, kids voluntarily come to school. Here in LA, we had anywhere between 32 to 40,000 kids per day showing up. Now, some folks in the media decry that as not a solution, to which I say rubbish. You had 32 to 40,000 kids showing up, and by the way, this is the key,
How many not
the
showing
right
up?
kids.
Notice he's not telling you how
80%
many.
of those kids were kids who absolutely needed to be there. It was never designed to be for everyone. In fact, you dilute the impact when you try to create interventions to accelerate, but you deploy them for everybody.
So the
No.
kids that don't deserve it shouldn't
Equity
be there.
decrees that you have to disproportionately pay attention, invest, support, nurture, nourish those who have greatest need. So that's what we did. What we've learned, kids and parents really want to go to the schools that they attend on a regular basis. So obviously, with a smaller number, we didn't
right,
open
Rick.
every school. The schools that we did open were overpopulated with kids from the local neighborhood at the expense of kids that would have
In
been bused.
conclusion, an hour later.
So we've learned that. We need to recalibrate for that. But that's what we learned, and that's
you guys
that
are
was the
funny,
effort,
man. You
which
guys
now
make me
will
laugh.
be re-energized during summer school. Last year we had over 100,000 kids in summer school, largest number ever. This year we're shooting for an excess of 100,000 to continue the acceleration.
I'd like to go next to the
Yeah,
chair of our
20%.
Neighborhoods
That's
and
huge.
Community Enrichment
Didn't
Committee,
show up.
Councilmember
20%
Hernandez.
did not show up. That's fucking huge.
Council President, thank you so much, Superintendent.
Oh
for
man,
being here
come
with
on!
us
Aren't you
today.
guys done talking? Can we talk?
I really enjoyed the presentation, and honestly, really am excited about the work you're doing, especially around harm reduction and naloxone. If there's any way that we can partner to save more of young people's lives, it's something I would love to do. And something that's impacting our district heavily is homeless families. Like, you're talking about doing the labor of finding these kids, and if there's anything that we can do to partner
C?
to help support with that,
Good morning.
please let us know, because these families live in our communities, and they're reaching out to you all and participating in programs and schooling that we can help bridge, I think, some of the gaps. And last thing I'd like to say is, we talk a lot about building up the infrastructure for our young people to have safe spaces to go. And we saw during COVID, and we see now today that those
fucked up,
spaces for
sucker
young
ma.
people are very limited.
Suck ma.
And so if there's any way, because you have schools and they're not open all the time, if there's ways that we can partner together to create more,
fucked
I know
up.
there's after school
Laser.
programs, but even if we can alter that and enhance that, because
Hold
in our
on, you're on
district,
the
we had
wrong
three
screen. Look
young
how red she
people
looks.
killed in Lincoln Heights.
There you
Who
go.
were gang impacted, who were teenagers, who need spaces to go. And there's 54 schools in CD1. So we'd love to figure out how we
54,
can partner to create
Jesus.
those safe spaces
In
for
one
young people
council
so that we can
district.
help enrich them
50
more,
fucking
give
four.
them food, give them a safe space to be. Thank you, Council President. Thank you so much for your presentation.
That's why they need
Thank you very much.
27
So,
billion.
Quick reply to some of the very important.
Oh, come on,
comments
man.
made.
You said you was going to
We're
wrap
very
it
proud of
up.
The fact that we were leaders in the deployment of Narcan,
Liar.
but that alone is insufficient. We need community-based educational programs, awareness. I cannot begin to tell you how
You
many
make me
parents
laugh,
did
Celebrate.
not really understand that one single pill or a morsel of a pill can kill. So we have made
It's my
investments
screen,
in that
Rick.
regard. We
See,
can do a lot
it's the
more.
screen.
Secondly,
You see this? See the watch? He's red.
Homelessness,
Not
as I
red.
described to
Red,
this body
not
last
red.
time I was here, is
Different
important.
computers. I just
was
never
homeless.
adjusted the screen. I need to
As
adjust
an
the screen.
18-year-old fellow in this country, as an immigrant, I was homeless. I was
Everybody's
homeless,
fucking
living in a car, I
homeless.
was
Come on,
sleeping
man.
on the bridge. That is not a condition that anyone, particularly children,
You went
should
from
ever
homeless to being a superintendent of
tried to strike a
LAUSD,
balance, right?
millionaire.
I do
Got it.
believe that, and I've heard positions from when some of you were candidates to now being elected officials on this important issue. And there are balances to be struck, right, in protecting
That's
kids,
Cuomo's brother.
but also being humane in addressing the issue and creating the conditions. They are not just punitive, but are actually investment of resources to uplift everyone. I am very determined to do that. The last point.
The
You know,
last
the
point.
city sits on huge assets. The school district sits on a portfolio of huge assets.
No shit,
As
Sherlock.
I said, I want to bring down the fences.
That's why
and
you like that
collaborate
grift.
On the use of safe green spaces, athletic activities. They belong to the taxpayer. They cannot be closed down at sundown or weekends. We have reviewed our inventory. We already negotiated 3 municipal compacts with cities in the southeast. We are currently negotiating one with the city. And I want to thank, by the way, not only many of you who have, in a very aggressive way, supported our work. Mayor Karen Bass, instrumental.
Oh, fuck. She's been
in
here 4
facilitating
months and I ain't done a
resolution
fucking thing.
to the contract with SEIU 99, and very, very involved in the
I already gave him the
negotiation
wrap it
of the
up.
compact between
He don't listen.
LAUSD and the city of Los Angeles for the purpose of joint use of facilities, joint use of assets, and hopefully further leveraging economies of scale.
Wrap that shit
Now,
up, B.
The fuel our facilities use and we use is the same. There's so much more we can do
And you know,
that will result
what
in
really sucks is
efficiencies,
you know that
in savings that
the
then can
longer
be-
this fuck talks is the less that we get to hear from the public is what we want to hear. And I guarantee you they're getting restless in there too because now they know that instead of 20 people talking, there'll be 7 in there, you know?
Hernandez, that the superintendent has been very supportive of joint use of facilities. This council and several mayors have also talked about the importance of joint use of facilities, and yet our progress has been slow. And it usually slows.
I got it. So several mayors, several out of your own fucking mouth have tried to implement this and it's still not working. And here we are later. Got it. Goes to show you how your party works.
Enormously impactful. both for our
Fantastic.
schools
You guys are
and for our
fantastic
neighborhoods in our
workers.
city.
I love the fact that it's all one party here. So you
Hey,
can't blame anybody.
Both as a chair of the neighborhood
Only
and
one
enrichment
person,
committee,
one
but
people
also
to
as
blame.
a product of LAUSD, you know, from elementary to middle school to high school.
They're
I
admitting
commit
their
to that. Thank
failures.
you.
They're fucking admitting failure to
Councilmember
you.
Heck.
Take that in. And years
Thank
of
you,
it.
Mr. President.
Decades maybe.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. First, I want to thank you for your vulnerability, for sharing your history of being a homeless gentleman, and changed my whole perspective.
No,
right?
it did
As a
to me,
hell of a
too.
guy,
Changed
I'm
my whole
thinking you're a
thing.
different guy. So thank
Wow.
you for that. I think
As soon as
that
I heard
makes a
that, wow.
difference to people in this city. As chair of
I
transportation,
clutch my pearls.
We, the council recently passed a motion to instruct the Department of Personnel and Transportation to report back on potential ways to expedite the hiring of crossing guards. I heard you say that you have about 200 vacancies, and so we need to know how we can help you fill that gap because our children need to be safe heading to school.
Yeah, because they can't get
heading home.
across the street.
So
Remember,
what
they're
can we do?
scared.
So thank
That's
you
why
very
they don't
much
come
for
to
the
school. It's the only
question.
reason, because they're scared to cross the street.
There are currently about 500 crossing guard positions budgeted, not through us. This is actually a county and city responsibility.
Right.
There are 300 of those positions are currently filled. There are people on the ground. There are 200 of those positions are currently vacant, but they are not under our purview. They are county and city largely. So we would like to, we get requests.
Smoking on the
sometimes
white
from
runs,
schools
Rick.
where parents themselves want to serve as crossing guards. There's a liability issue with that, right? So we cannot consent to it. Secondly, it falls outside of our jurisdiction. But I would love to have Marta Alvarez, who is here.
Your gummy
She
delivery?
is
Oh, you
our-
getting some black market?
Our,
What
our
was that? What was
chief
it?
of intergovernmental affairs to partner
What's that
directly with
fucking
you
thing?
and further
Dark web.
explore
Get some dark web gummies.
potential solutions that would lead to the acceleration of the
up, Terry?
hiring and deployment
Happy Friday.
of those individuals.
Just in time, Terry. You ain't missed
Councilmember
nothing.
Hutt, this is, of course,
All this
part of our
bullshit
challenge
yin-yanging.
citywide, our enormous vacancy
We've
rate.
yet to hear from the
Crossing guards
public.
Are
What time
especially
is it?
difficult positions to fill.
All right,
because
so
they're a
guys, we've
split
been on
shift,
45
and it's
minutes.
very hard for people to be able
Exactly
to do
46
that kind of
minutes now we've been on,
employment.
and we haven't
If
heard
you
from the
could
public
work
yet.
with Councilmember
And just so you
Bukowski
know,
to
they
see
were
how
on.
can
They were 15
accelerate
minutes
filling
late to
those
the meeting.
positions. It would be an enormous.
So now we're an hour
step
deep.
for us to take.
Still ain't got nothing done.
Councilmember Soto Martinez.
Nobody from the public's talked yet.
Thank you so much, Council President. Just
And they're
wanna say
still
thank you
talking.
so much for being here. What an
All the
amazing
dick sucking
report
still
that
going
you just
on.
Gave. Sure learned a lot about the work that you're doing. And also want to congratulate you on reaching a tentative agreement with two of the biggest unions. I know it can get tense sometimes, but we work through it, and we're all partners at the end of the day. Excited to hear about the Narcan, the one-on-one.
Give him the buzzer.
On the digital divide, the psychiatric and mental health.
There you go, Daryl.
All that sounds really incredible. The thing that the most excited me and perked me up is the mentorship that you're trying to do with the young folks, right? As someone who went to high school that had about high 20% graduation rates,
Happy Friday.
I dropped out for a little bit. I was on
You were-
probation.
you
as a
were homeless
juvenile. I
too?
don't know if folks know that, but it was that one-on-one mentorship that really changed my life. I had a teacher that just paid just that little bit extra attention. So when you mentioned that, it made me really think about how much the community can support and just giving a little bit more love to the folks that need it. Sometimes it just takes just a little bit of love. So I'm curious to know more about that, how our office can support that. Let's message it out. I think if we
That's right,
understand
Mike. That's all they do.
How the impact
Good to
it
see
can
you,
have
Randy,
in
Mike.
such a young person, people will be willing to do it, and people want to help.
Kat, good to see
I
you
think
as
when
well.
People understand the effectiveness of this. I think people will come and fill.
Nobody
I think
cares, bub. They
27,000,
just like to hear
children
themselves
who need
talk.
that. So please.
That's why I mute 'em and
use that as
talk over 'em a
resource,
lot.
For us, we're happy to help and collaborate.
You're not missing anything.
Thank you very much.
Same
Mr.
shit
Soto
every day.
Martinez.
Just
You
bat.
know,
They're patting
when I
their own
first talked
backs.
about
That's why I always go like this.
27,000, people
He's
say,
just
"Wow,
patting his
that's a
own
lot."
back,
It's a lot of mentors.
saying how awesome
We're a
they're
huge
doing
community.
and how awesome they are and how great
Greater
everything
LA,
is.
over 5
Let's go
million
see.
people.
Look, guys, let's all meet up and go
Getting
see how awesome the
27,000
schools are.
should be a drop in a bucket. So I think the power of public employers and private employers, and we're also exploring, tax benefits. If you release your employee 1 hour per week, you can leverage that. So I think
I
this
hope
is
Go Boy
eminently
calls in
doable,
Vinny.
and I appreciate
Fucking
the
Vinny.
fact that you hit the nail on the head. One single adult.
That was a tough
with
game
an
for New
open-minded
Jersey
heart
yesterday, Vin. I
can
was
make a
watching.
meaningful
Oof.
connection,
At
particularly
home.
if they are representative.
Devils got to wake up.
We need more
Fucking
educators of
Rangers are
color
playing
in our
well.
schools.
Kreider,
Our
man.
kids need to see themselves in the future vision that can show up at their classrooms. They often don't see that, so it is powerful, and I appreciate your willingness. And I will have staff reach out to actually each one of you and provide you with direct packets on the Everybody Mentors LA. Easy to do. We have stood up a platform for easy connections and enrollment. Thank you.
Come to Newark and take in a game. I'm down.
Councilmember
I've
Park.
had a few friends that
Council
used to live
President.
next to
Thank
me.
you,
They were from
Superintendent Cavazos
Piscataway.
for being here this morning.
There's some great peeps. Fun to get high with.
I just wanted to thank you and acknowledge the
Shout out to Brian.
challenging circumstances that you have led the district through over the last few years.
Councilmember Park, you actually need to pull that mic closer. That will help. And if maybe Mr. Price, if you can move your mic away, there's a little feedback.
Little screech there. Thank you.
Thank you. Heel the Bay shirt.
I also want to acknowledge and
Oh,
applaud
God. Is it your first day on the
commitment
mic?
to keeping our children safe. We all know that children learn better when they can come and go to school safely, when they can learn and thrive in safe environments. So I appreciate your leadership on that, and I heard your plea to us to keep our parks and our libraries safe and accessible for children.
Our
The
libraries
safety
are
of our
filled with
kids
homeless
shouldn't
now.
be negotiable
Homeless people
to
sleep in front of our
anyone in this
libraries
room. And I
now.
want you to know that in the 11th district,
And they don't
we
do
have
anything
my
about it, by the
partnership
way.
to make sure that children have safe perimeters around their schools and that they have safe access to our parks and our libraries.
Well, you don't do
I
it
also
now,
want
so
to
what's
applaud you
different
for the
now?
work that you've done around
Karen?
the street drugs.
What's
with
different
fentanyl
now?
And Narcan being available and accessible to your students. But we have the introduction now of new street
right,
drugs.
Talladega.
Tranq and ISO.
The big
that
one's
hit the
coming.
streets in Los Angeles that are 25 to 50 times more deadly than fentanyl. And Narcan doesn't work. So I'm just curious if you could talk to us a little bit about
Narcan
what
don't
the
work.
district is doing to educate and to get ahead of this problem.
That's Jay Lance. You ain't
before
missed
any
shit,
more
though. You're
students
good
die.
timing.
Thanks.
All it is these idiots talking.
Thank you very
Oh,
much,
man, now we got to hear him talk again. Can we talk to the people?
Park, critical issue.
You did good by coming in late, Lance.
Here's what we know. If we simply rely on law enforcement to solve for this problem, we lose. If we simply rely on after-the-fact solutions like Narcan, we lose. If we simply
Yeah, it's a
rely
Heal the
on
Bay shirt,
the streets being
Goldwing.
safe and parks being safe, but we don't have processes in schools,
You know.
we lose. If we simply educate the kids but not the parents, we lose. So what I'm trying to say here is a holistic.
Right there, Fox.
all
Red
hands on
Fox,
deck
stop telling too much
solution
truth.
is the only
You better
solution
stop
actually
that.
works.
You're going to offend
So
somebody.
what are we doing specifically?
Fucking
Number
see you,
one,
Red.
launching a peer-to-peer mentoring program. This is empowering students in schools
Better stop all that truth.
without the stigma of being admonished
with
by an
you?
adult in conducting their own trainings. This is seniors and juniors
Hi, Jenny.
helping freshmen and sophomores understand the dangers associated
Gotti has the
with
floor.
early detection of
Does look like John Gotti.
troubled
Like,
behavior
how much hair products in
early
that?
detection
There's
of
not a hair out of
indicators
place. Not one.
that could lead
Shit
to
looks
other
bulletproof
things
right
by
now, like it's a
students
helmet
themselves,
and shit, like
or
Darth
the
Vader.
pathways and vehicles impressive counselors in a protected way. Also, massive training for parents through our parent academy. We've had
Hey,
over
Darth,
1,000
that helmet is thick as
100,000
yours.
participants.
That is correct.
See, even Darth agreed.
Academy, as I described earlier, not just to empower parents in the knowledge of their own rights and responsibilities.
See,
in our
even
community,
Darth
helping
Vader
parents
agreed that
negotiate
that
the
helmet
school
is as
system,
thick
which
as
can be
his helmet.
daunting, particularly if you're an immigrant parent or if you're working 2-3 jobs, ensuring that you're making the right choices for your child, but also empowering parents with the knowledge of what's happening in their kids' lives in the parks and at school. Sometimes they do not. So the Parent Academy has coursework specifically addressing the danger associated with some of these drugs.
It's got to be glued.
And by the way, any other elements, access to
Imagine if he was
firearms
bald and it was just straight a
and
helmet.
any
It just
one of those related
and
elements
it just
that mainly
attaches.
kill kids in our community. And then the third element
Strap it down.
is the utilization of community-based organizations for rapid
Imagine if it had like toe straps to his shoulder, holding it down.
specific to these elements.
Did you imagine
And the very
that?
last one, at some point, you do need some degree
That'd
of
be great.
collaboration specific to enforcement. We need to root out, identify the adult drug pushers, the
Lego
scum
hair?
of the earth, who actually hire, intimidate, and use our kids as the vehicles, as the mules of drugs into schools. Young kids, they're not the drug dealers. They're the drug pushers sometimes. There are adult criminal entities well established in this community. We need to push them out. We need to ruin their trade. And if we do that, if we empower kids with education, empower parents with education, empower community-based organizations, additional supervision. By the way, this means having more after-school programs so that our kids are recruited into the good rather than allowing them to be recruited into the darkness. All of that works.
Right,
Not
Bolt,
an easy
Sniper?
thing, but it is a doable thing. I, too, am very concerned
Exactly.
about novel.
He's mad about the guys pushing the kids to sell the drugs in schools, which is a good thing. We shouldn't have kids doing any drugs in school at all, ever, no matter where it is, in school, out of school. But he's not mad at the big pharmas that push those drugs into those kids and force those kids to take those drugs so they could just go to school and learn. Didn't say a fucking thing about that.
echo something that my colleagues have said about joint use agreements and the opportunity to create true community.
Man,
and
are
partnerships
you
at
buying
schools.
tablecloths
I chair
as
the Energy and
shirts?
Environment Committee.
Like,
We're
really? That
looking
looks
at
like an
how
old
we're deploying
70s
Measure W
tablecloth.
funds. When we created Measure W, which is the stormwater parcel tax, we really
What's going on
for,
there?
For us, the real opportunity was at those school sites, and so figuring out how to open up those spaces, use regional money, and do that in partnership together. So I'm very much looking forward to doing that work.
No,
with
we
you.
just
And
need to
I
get
just
to the
wanna say
people
I'm
talking.
really excited about the
That's it.
opportunities to expand upon the early childhood education programs. However we can help. We know that early education pays dividends for families in our communities, so I'll be reaching out to find some time to talk about that.
Single
as well.
girl vibes. You guys are faded and fucked up. You guys are mean. I'm telling you, you guys can be in hell right next to me, burning up.
We increased.
We're all gonna be
the
laughing there
capacity,
together. We should have
and
said
demand
that.
has been terrific, but we still have open slots. So our goal is to realize 25,000 early childhood education students in our programs as a result of 2 years' worth
Pat
of
Riley.
work. Last year, 14,000.
Does
We
have
need
Pat
to
Riley
continue
vibes.
That forward momentum.
That suit, that
Why?
hair, that tan.
Far better to impact educationally kids at the earliest possible age than try to remediate that 11th grader who's lacking credits and probably would not graduate on time. So my bet, I will boost graduation rates by solidifying and expanding early childhood education.
You willing to put
programs.
your money
It's
where your
not an
mouth is?
expenditure, It's the wisest, best investment.
You're willing to
Thank
say
you.
you bet, but will you actually put money of your own to
Councilmember
bet?
Yaroslavsky, I'll also note that LAUSD, the largest DWP customer, a peak energy user because they're only open during the day, and a lot of flat roofs. So if we can ever make progress on PV on
Solar.
every school roof in the city, I think that would be a great accomplishment for DWP to partner with the district on. Councilmember De Leon.
Come on, man. Can we? Oh, the racist. Let's see.
Thank you very much, Mr. Superintendent, for
See if they yell at him.
excellent presentation, a very passionate presentation.
Yes.
There's a couple things that I wanted to underscore that you highlighted in your presentation, which is the issue of collaboration, without a doubt, and leveraging our resources together for the well-being of the human condition. of
Leave
our
the mic
students,
alone,
the
asshole.
vast majority being students of color, being students from single mothers, students who are immigrants or undocumented immigrants, and obviously the issue with regards to transportation being critical. You know, we continue to collaborate, obviously, with LA Unified School District in providing resources for the field trips that you made reference to. For example, the Getty Museum may be free, but the Getty Museum geographically is on a different planet altogether from the south part of LA or the east side or the southeast side of LA. So I know that our office continues to provide the resources.
Yeah,
for
Museum of
school
Science
buses,
and History
if you
is
will.
in
And
South
just
LA.
recently,
So again,
a different type of field trip, not to
Children's
from Ball Heights
Museum
to
is in
Tokyo,
downtown LA.
but within a month it's going to be from Ball Heights to actually Tokyo, Japan, Osaka, and Kyoto and Kobe as well too. So having that collaborative opportunity is so important.
I think he looks like Lou
You touched
Diamond
upon the
Phillips.
issue with regards to transportation and safe pathways to your elementary, to your middle, to your high school.
Chemo.
And the onus on
Where's
us
chemo
as a
at?
city, as well as a county, what we need to do to create safe passages, not just the issue with regards to gangs and violence, which happens, you know.
Lou Diamond hair with
tragically
Edward
every single
James
day,
Olmos face.
but how we deal with traffic as well. As you know well, just recently.
cut this
just
wire?
recently, just a few weeks ago, in Ball Heights, on the corner of Whittier Boulevard and Orme Street, right in front of Foster Freeze, a young, vibrant young man, plays basketball, fan of the Lakers, Anthony Davis to be specific. When I visited him at LA County USC Medical Center, he made that request, was crossing the street, and at no fault of his own, and it was hit by a motorcyclist and lost his leg. And not through amputation at LA County USC Medical Center, but lost his leg physically right then and there on Whittier Boulevard. And the tragedy of the father actually finding his leg underneath the car on Whittier Boulevard. That's on us. because we have so many dangerous streets throughout the city of LA, and how we collaborate with you as a district. So, because we are a very car-centric, system, our city, so that is something that we have to engage and work in a collaborative fashion to make sure we do have these safe passages for our young boys and girls. Secondly, I know that Ms. Hernandez, as well as Mr. Oslowski, and our president, Mr. Koren, brought up the issue which you brought up originally, which is the joint use and collaborative efforts. I think that has never been really institutionalized. It's been more
Nuggets, let's
rhetorical.
fucking go, Denver.
It's been City Hall, the executive and the legislative branch, as well as the executive branch of the school district from years going back.
So he's not
How we can
American
actually
me
leverage
almost.
all of the
He's stand and
asphalts
deliver almost.
of these rich real estate assets that you possess, the assets that we have, because I know I broach a subject many times. It's always liability issues. It's the lawyers who get involved. It's the after school. We can't do this. We can't do that. To your point, we can do it if we have the will. And I like that, because we have the intelligence, we have the real estate assets, but is the will there? And who triumphs
With his busted
in
ass
these
fucking Canadian
meetings to
tuxedo
actually get it done,
t-shirt
to kind
right
of
there. It's got like a
access?
denim shirt on with
Because
no
the city of
tie.
LA, as you know, in comparison to
What's
Boston,
he
in
doing?
comparison
Shit
to
looks
New
like
York,
it ain't been fucking
Chicago, or
pressed
Miami,
in a
we
couple
are the
weeks,
largest
easy.
park-starved
Rolled up
city
collar.
in the United States of America when it comes to park acreage, green space, and when it comes to population. Ball Heights
outta
is
here.
one of the worst neighborhoods, not just in the city of LA, but in the United States of America when it comes to the ratio of park to population. So I like what you say very much, and I want to highlight that because
No
we can
Tie
really
Friday?
greenify.
He didn't
if you
get the
will,
memo.
and just transform.
Either did
the
the other
school
guy with the
district,
orange
the
tie.
city, in our neighborhoods by taking advantage of these joint use projects, for all of the well-being of our community. So
He
I just
looks
wanna say
stressed.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for leading.
Looks
the
like it's
charge
finally taking
on
its toll.
electrifying, our transportation system from taking old diesel, dirty, belching, particulate matter and carbon dioxide, buses, and electrify them to moving folks from one part of the city to another part of the city in a much cleaner fashion. So thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I didn't
Whoever
watch
shouted
it,
out,
Captain.
I said earlier.
I
I
heard
won't
about it, but I
tolerate
didn't watch
shouting
that
out.
stuff.
So, sergeants, if you identify anyone who's shouting out, I want them removed from this council. And
Somebody
Mr.
called him a
Herman,
racist.
Your son
Racist.
violates Council Rule 12D. If I see it again, you're out. It's disgusting, and you are out if I see it one more time. With
He's
that,
pissed. Somebody's triggered.
Superintendent Carvalho, thank you so much for being with us again.
Somebody's
You started
mad.
This off by yes, please. Let's thank Superintendent Carvalho. You have what is widely recognized as being maybe the hardest job in government in California, and you have done it with aplomb, and I want to thank you for your leadership.
Oh, hell
And
no,
also
Jay.
thank you for this
Jay Kelly,
presentation
of course
today. You
not.
started
There ain't
it
none of
off
that
by
there.
describing it as an annual report.
These people are
And of course,
communists.
you're welcome here annually, but in between those reports, you're also welcome to work with all of us on the
give a
issues
shit
that we
about no
described where the
Constitution.
city can continue to support
They'll
public
wipe their ass
education
with it.
and the students and the employees of the LAUSD. So thank you very much. It was wonderful having you here again.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the time, and I'll be back, as they say.
I'll look forward
Thank
to
you.
it.
Get the
Councilmember
fuck
Price,
out of here, finally.
Can I ask you to come on up?
Oh, man. Can we fucking get to the people already? We've been
And,
here an hour.
I'd also like to call upon Councilmember Yaroslavsky.
Oh, fuck. We already
who
heard
will
her talk
be
with the
beginning
tablecloth shirt.
Presentation as well.
Oh, who's getting an award
so,
now?
Councilmember Yaroslavsky, the floor is yours.
All right, who's getting the award today, guys? Ladies basketball team, a church, a temple, Asian Community Center. What's going on? What are we getting today? Who's getting it?
Thank you very much. Colleagues, I rise today to mark Earth Day.
Earth Day. Earth Day is...
You all have trees to show it.
So it's Earth Day.
As someone who spent a large part of my career working on climate
Scar
and
Bollinger,
sustainability,
there
I
she
have
is.
to admit that I'm a bit torn about celebrating this day.
Fuck.
We've made too little progress and face increasing challenges just to avoid the worst impacts. of
Filth
climate
everywhere in
change.
the streets. They're talking celebrating
But today
Earth Day.
does afford the opportunity to remind ourselves that our work to protect the public health and welfare from the impacts of air pollution, water pollution, toxic contamination, and a changing climate is not a once-a-year event, but part of our daily tasks to which we must rededicate ourselves every morning. My team and I gave each of you a tree seedling to mark this occasion and to remind us all that we share a collective responsibility to care for the planet and, more importantly, to care for the people who inhabit it. Because Earth Day is not just some abstract notion about saving the world, but is instead about making people's lives better. I want to thank Rachel Malarich, the City Forest Officer, for being here today to mark the day and for providing us with the trees. Thank you. Rachel, would you like to say a few words?
Dude, his earrings are crazy.
Thank
Look
you,
at those
Councilmember
earrings.
Jaroslawski,
Hold on.
And members of council.
Hopefully
It's
I
my
can
pleasure
zoom
to be
in
here
when
with
they
you
go
today.
back to
I'm
him.
Rachel Mallarich, your city forest officer, and I get to work on improving our urban forest and the benefits it provides to our communities on a daily basis. So every day is Earth Day for those of us who work in the environmental field and all of us as residents. And I do want to say thank you to our City Plants partners and the Los Angeles Conservation Corps who are working in the Commonwealth Nursery, which is where your trees came from today. And we have a little blurb on the type of tree that you received as well. So thank you to them for helping us. So trees play an important
Look at the
role
earrings.
in
He has
our
two.
neighborhoods
That's
and
crazy.
communities. We
Wow.
know that the shade that trees provide important protections for our residents.
Hopefully he
from
goes up and
climate
talks.
change and the elements in our urban environment. They improve our air quality, which
Hippie
again,
hype.
we're causing through having our car traffic and other emitters.
Hippie vibes.
They also provide cooling when it comes to urban heat island. And the city has been dedicated on looking at how we address having that canopy available to all of our residents. I'm going to take off my policy and planning hat for a moment and just take a moment to celebrate trees
That's homie doing right here.
in honor of Earth Day. So in front of you, you have a plant, and in
Is
our
that homie
neighborhoods,
that
we
was
have
screaming last
trees
time?
That
That
we're able
is.
to look at and see them
That
with
had to
the
be-
right conditions.
Remember he was saying all the bad shit?
Elements around
That's
them,
him.
rainwater or stormwater runoff, take the carbon dioxide that we're breathing out, take soil, take sunshine, and convert it into new large structures that shade our neighborhoods. And to me, that's really the heart of how I got into this work. Is these are massive and beautiful elements that we get to have around us and see that are
Sky,
happening
we just got to
naturally.
get through these
And in an
morons.
urban environment, we do have to provide
And let
that
all the people
support.
back here
And
talk.
we have
That's
to
where the action
intervene
is.
more than we would in the natural forested area. But we are so fortunate to have these plants as a reminder of the magic of nature and
What do you mean,
nature
man?
does
She's
on-
hot. She
on
gets
its
my
own
dick hard.
across the
I got a
planet.
boner.
So I would encourage all of us to get a moment outside, think about your tree story, or enjoy some plants in your community, or maybe go to the beach or another natural environment, and think about how you can steward and support.
And remember, it's Earth
the
Day.
things around
So
us
go
and how
out
we
there
can
and
encourage one another
do
to be
some
so.
earthy.
Even as we as a city think about how we can continue
Look at his
to look
earrings.
for ways to increase tree canopy in our
Dude, those things are huge. What are those things? They're like
hope you have a chance
bones.
to
I
appreciate some nature
swear,
this
legit
weekend. It's
looks
nice
like
to have Earth Day
bones
actually
hanging
fall on
from his ears.
Saturday, and wonderful to
I
see
thought it
all
was
of you.
feathers,
Thank
but I
you.
don't think it's feathers.
Thank you, Rachel. You all probably know that the first Earth Day was in 1970. It was spurred by a number of key incidents, including the Cuyahoga River in Ohio catching fire due to oily and toxic pollution on its surface. And closer to home in
Isn't it
January of
Cuyahoga?
1969, there was a massive oil spill from offshore drilling in Santa Barbara, which devastated some of California's most beautiful beaches. Unfortunately, 50 years later, we continue to suffer the impacts of oil drilling, both offshore and more to the point in our own communities. Just last month, researchers reconfirmed what we already knew, that Black and Hispanic populations have disproportionately higher exposure to oil and gas operations in California. This is not by accident, but by design, as we carry a legacy of institutional and systemic racism that has pushed toxic facilities into communities of color. So I'm thrilled to be joined by my colleagues, Councilwoman Rodriguez and Councilwoman Hutt, to recognize today the important work of the Liberty Hill Foundation, which was housed in the 5th Council District for many years until the pandemic pushed everyone remote. For over 40 years, the Liberty Hill Foundation has fought for intersectional justice in our communities. Their efforts to create racial justice, youth and transformative justice, LGBTQ and gender justice, economic and housing justice, and of course environmental and climate justice have been critical to making LA a better place for all of us. They've worked with our own Climate Emergency Mobilization Office, supported the nationally award-winning LA County Sustainability Plan, and perhaps most importantly, led a coalition of environmental justice orgs.
I'm gonna
in a
kill
campaign
myself, I
against
swear to
oil
God.
drilling in LA. That coalition, known as Stand LA, was successful in getting both the County Board of Supervisors and the City Council to adopt ordinances last year that will at long last shut down oil wells in our neighborhoods. So today, in honor of Earth Day, I'm proud to present the certificate
Oh,
to Andres
please
Gonzalez
hurry.
from Liberty Hill in appreciation for their work on behalf of all of our communities and for showing that it's possible to take on some of the biggest polluters.
Oh, shit.
Andres, would you like to say a few words?
Appreciate it. Thank you, council member, and thank you, city council.
Oh, there, look at his
for all the
earrings.
work y'all do to continue adjusting.
Oh, maybe it is
Los
feathers.
Angeles,
No,
especially
those
through
aren't
policies
feathers.
like
What
the
are
oil
those?
phase out and your continued support of the Climate Emergency Mobilization
Like
Office.
fossils of some sort.
And I just want to highlight, on Earth Day, that environmental justice is not a single issue area, but one deeply connected
What are those?
to multiple human needs, including mobility and housing justice, as much as it is reparations and rematriation for wider social justice. And so I continue to encourage you all to see these as interconnected issues and just wish you all many blessings. Thank you.
I don't know what it... Children's fingers. Chicken bones. It looks like they're bones of some sort. I thought they were feathers, but it looks like more of a fossil-y looking thing. Oh, man, did you see her with the mask and the Terminator glasses?
Happy Earth Day, everyone.
Thank you, Councilwoman, for
she was
reminding us how
shit.
important
Hopefully she
Earth
comes up
Day
and
is.
talks like
Special
that.
Shout out to Rachel and
She
to
looks
Andre.
scary.
Thank you
Oh, there's my
both for your
girlfriend on the
leadership,
side.
For your cooperation and for your commitment.
She's trying to get up in Cam's way.
Not
She's like,
just
I want to
Earth
get
Day
known.
is our day. And so, again, we thank you.
Do you think she's grabbing his cock underneath the table?
Okay. Next up, we got...
Like, girl, that's
Councilman
part of the
Park.
job. Sorry, you didn't see it on the app?
the special guest.
It was right on the application. It was number
Another
3.
special guest.
Another special guest. Thank you.
Oh,
Mr.
come the
President. We are
fuck
back for
on.
another pet adoption
Oh,
Friday.
fuck
And
me.
Today, I have the honor of introducing everybody.
Oh, spankings.
Mr.
Look at the
Dar-
li- Oh.
Mr. Darcy is stuck. Mr. Darcy
Oh, I love
is
little
about
spankums.
12 weeks old.
Oh,
He
look at him.
weighs about 3 pounds. He
I
is
want him.
very, very ready to go to his forever home today.
Looks like
So if
Stinks.
somebody is looking for a new pet to adopt,
Looks like
please
Stinks.
consider Mr. Darcy. He is looking for his
Not as
Elizabeth.
handsome as Stinks, but he's
Like
just
his
like him.
namesake, he is a handsome guy with striking features straight out of the Regency period. While he may be a little bit aloof when you first meet him, once he warms up, he is ready to play and snuggle.
She already
Always
tainted
is up
him.
for a cuddle and
Besides, you can't
a
have
good
2
book,
boys
although
like
it
that.
doesn't
He'll
have to be
Stinks
Jane
will fight with
Austen.
him. You'd if
If you're
Stinks
ready
gonna
for a
get
new
somebody, it's
furry
got to be a
sidekick,
girl.
Look no further than Mr. Darcy.
You know, he's
He
not
is
gonna
available
want to
at
have
North
another
Central
boy
Animal
come into his
Services
shit.
Center
Come on,
if
man.
you're ready to
He'd be pissed
adopt
at me,
or foster
pissing
him.
everywhere then,
Also, just
purposefully.
a quick public service announcement.
Oh, yeah?
Studies also
I got you,
show
homeboy.
that animals are good
Take that.
for your health. Cats in particular are good for health, and studies show that their purring has a calming effect.
Now, if they
and
grew up
reduces
together and they were
stress and
brothers,
anxiety.
totally get it.
Cats and dogs,
But not
adopted
2
from
randos
animal-
together. You
animal
don't do that, I
shelters
don't
come
think.
Spayed and neutered, vaccinated, microchipped, and licensed.
It's got everything.
So if you would like to
If you
give
want 'em,
Mr.
right
Darcy
there.
a forever home, you can call Animal Services. at
Seriously, if you want him right there, call him.
1-888-452-7831.
He's spayed, he's neutered. I mean, he's neutered, rather.
Or you can
Not
visit
spayed. He's neutered, he's
LAAnimalservices.com.
got all his shots.
His ID number is A207.
He's ready to go. Nails are clipped.
So thank you for having Mr. Darcy with us in Chambers this morning.
Thank you, Councilwoman
All right, we
Park.
should now be going to public
And,
comment, hopefully.
We know that Mr. Darcy will be getting a loving home soon. Thank you for bringing him to us.
Stinks is still better looking.
Okay, members, we're now going to be moving
letting you
on
know.
to public comment.
Because Stinks got the black nose. That's what makes it look
Please
better.
note that today's meeting includes a call-in option for public comment.
All right, call-in
Public
option. You can
comment
call
will be taken
in.
both in person
You
in
too
council
can
chambers
call in.
and also via teleconference. Mr. Clerk, would you please read out the call-in information?
Finally.
Thank you,
And,
Mr. President.
that was also
Finally.
provided in the agenda.
Look at his ears.
As
Bent
indicated
back.
on the agenda, members of the public
They're like
wishing to
wings.
offer public comment should call
It's like wings now.
669-254.
Call in right there.
5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound
Hour and
again
14
when
minutes
prompted
in,
for
guys. We
participant
finally
ID.
get down to business.
Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute. Let me repeat. call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute.
So for members of the public calling in or in chamber, when it's your turn to speak,
Because you got a big
please state
head.
the agenda
Obviously,
items
that
you'd
face
like to
diaper, as
speak
big as
on.
it
You
is,
have
isn't
1
big
minute
enough,
per
right?
item
It's
to
pulling his ears
1 minute
back
per
'cause
item
it's
to
too
speak, up to
tight.
3 minutes total. And if you wish 1 minute
If he had-
for general public
if he didn't have
comment,
such a big-ass
speak to the
bucket
items
head,
before
wouldn't be
beginning
pulling his
general public
ears.
comment. We'll tell you when your time's up. When speaking on the agenda items, you have to be on topic.
What happens when you
Our
got
goal
that
is to get
fucking
through as
9.5
much as we
fucking
can. If you're not
that
on topic, or if we can't
fitted
go over
9.5
on topic,
new
you'll get
era
no
hat.
brief warning from me or the president. At that point, you need to get immediately clearly on topic. If you
Balloon
don't,
head.
or you then stray off topic, you'll forfeit your speaking time, and we'll move on to the next speaker. The items that are open for public comment today are items 9 through 22. That's 9 through 22. You are free to speak about the other items or anything else within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city during general public comment. Now, as you were told, for people dialing in, when it's your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will prompt you to press star 6 to unmute yourself. If you don't do so, council staff will prompt you once more.
Dude, he's
usually
pasty.
By reading off the last 4
He needs one of those
phone number.
tanning booths.
At that point, you really need to press star 6 right away, or we're going to move on to the next.
Or
speaker.
we're going to move right on.
Finally, there is a brief time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, so 2 things are important. First, if you're listening to the meeting on multiple devices like Channel 35 or YouTube, when it's your turn to speak, turn down the volume on the other devices right away.
Could you imagine being stuck in an elevator for hours with just this guy? It'd be fucking absolute torture.
Second, while you're waiting for your turn to speak, please keep one ear to the phone and just don't be listening on another device. Because of the time delay, you might not hear quickly enough.
Just look at his
When
mouth.
It's your turn to press star 6, and
concentrate on his
unfortunately,
mouth.
you could get passed over. With that, Mr. President, we are ready to begin public comment.
Okay, we're going to take. We'll take
That's the
several,
city attorney.
names at a time.
That's who that is.
Hear your name, please line up and be prepared to.
And I think he's the mayor pro temp.
Make your comment. Stacy Bollinger.
I'm sorry, the
Bollinger,
president pro
Andrew
temp.
Ruddick,
The white
Arnold
dude,
Sachs,
Krikorian, is the
Johnny
president.
G, John Levy, Carrie Cliff, Killoy, Rob Kwan.
Okay, and while the speakers are coming up, there is
Tommy last
Here we
week.
go.
Thank you.
Stacy
While the
Cigar
speakers are coming
Bollinger,
up,
ladies and gentlemen.
there is
Let's
another
go.
Amending motion on 25A I'd like to read in
Please.
case the public wants to comment on it. So the motion is that the item be amended to add the following projects. And that would be Mayor Karen Bass's Honoring Angelino's mural project, led by the Board of Public Works, with the project budget of $5 million and requested grant funding of $5 million, presented by Councilman Hutt, and I believe seconded by Mr. Lee.
So they want to spend $5 million on murals
very much.
when there's homeless everywhere.
Which item
Everywhere
did you
there's
sign up for
homeless,
today?
but they want to
I'd
spend
like to speak
$5
on
million to
items
paint some
9,
walls.
12,
Wow.
19, 16,
Wow.
17, and general
Wow.
public comment.
Okay, so you've got 3 minutes.
That's
for
how
the
they do
items,
it.
And then followed by a minute for
You
general.
wonder
So
why
the
there's
floor is yours.
homeless
Please begin.
everywhere.
Thank you.
'Cause
So starting with 16 and 17, these are illuminating City Hall for different virtue signaling events. I keep saying I don't know why we're doing lighting things up to celebrate things during an emergency, but also why does it cost $400 every time we want to light up City Hall? It's $400, and I would just like to see an itemized ticket
Energy
on that,
bill.
because that seems like a lot of money for some lights that we should already have.
Talk to the DWP.
Item,
They're the best customer.
12 is a guns and ammunition tax. Gun control legislation is complicated. Unfortunately, it tends to disenfranchise minorities and already marginalized communities. And I mean, taxes and fines are really not as significant for the wealthy as they are for the poor. When we talk about gun control and we appeal to places like Germany or Australia, and we say, look, here's what they did about guns, and here's the results they had, there's some information we're leaving out because those places also don't have the rate of poverty that we have. They don't have the rate of housing insecurity. They have free and affordable education.
They don't have the population rate.
Children going to bed at night hungry. So besides what they have instituted around their guns and ammunition, they're also taking a lot better care of their citizens, which is ultimately what prevents violence. Number 9 is the emergency declaration for our unhoused resident population. I can't help but notice that every single provision in this declaration is exclusively about no bid contracts. Everything in this emergency declaration is about
Just give me the money.
expediting the process to give contracts to builders.
That's
and
it.
while I see the long-term projection of how that might get people into housing, people are dying today on the street. Kenneth Mejia introduced a program to locate vacancies that exist now and provide vouchers to get unhoused residents into existing vacancies. I think that the city council needs to get more behind programs like that. And in these emergency declarations, we really need eviction moratoriums and provisions to freeze rent hikes and see what we can do to lower the rents. Quickly, 4118. I don't see it enforced with stores or commercial properties.
Telling somebody how to
There
dictate
is
their
a
business practices. Got it.
Business, thank you. I'll go into my general public comment. There's
Sure.
a business near Woodman and Ventura that sells mopeds. They have their mopeds on the sidewalk, blocking the sidewalk. It's really narrow.
What a Karen.
But when it's like businesses selling things, 4118 doesn't apply. Even though according to Bob Blumenfeld, 4118 has nothing to do with unhoused residents. It's all about accessibility. Yet at the SOHA meeting that I was at the other night, 4118 was a big topic of discussion, and it was completely about our homeless population. So I don't know what that's about. I know Kevin De Leon is here today, but I'm not going to sing because he's not in his seat. And I also want to draw attention to the fact that we had the LAUSD superintendent here talking about unhoused children in his district. I just want to point out that that man makes more in his salary than the president of the United States.
It's true.
$440,000 a year. That's
why he got
That's
that suit.
insane. Why does he make more than the president to oversee such a dismal situation in LAUSD?
Those were
Thank you
facts.
for your comment. Next speaker, please.
damage.
It's true though. You wonder why he got
Calm
that
down.
nice suit? It's because he's making over $400K. He makes more than most doctors.
If you'd remind us
Sitting
of
there
the
just
name you signed up
promising
under
you
and
everything and giving you nothing, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Miss Kelly Cliff. I'm a Christian minister, and I'm here to speak on being a resident here in Los Angeles, California, and ongoing crimes committed against me. Barack Obama raped me in my sleep. It was not in Los Angeles, but it was in Culver City at a Denny's restaurant. Denny's restaurant was demolished, and now Chick-fil-A is current on the property. Now, Barack Obama has come for various events for the Democratic convention, for the Democratic candidates. Barack Obama is a rapist. When is he going to be arrested? He should not be campaigning for the Democratic committee. My father, Walter Cliff, murdered in the city of Los Angeles, was a employee for the city of Los Angeles for over 30 years. Now, this is what happens to his daughter. They raped the daughter and murdered the father. I was a virgin in my 30s. Los Angeles Police Department found out about it. They don't like virgin Christian women. The population has changed. Police Department.
No wonder you were a virgin at 30.
The wrath of God will strike you down. And another thing, when you talk to that worm
Remind us of your
Woodrow,
name again and what you signed up for.
Sure. Andrew Riddick, item number 14, please. And
Please go ahead. Everything free.
As far as the two nonprofit organizations involved with the Hollywood Walk of Fame maintenance,
That's
and
why
star
we watch this,
installations
ladies
are
and gentlemen.
concerned, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce and the Hollywood
She got
Historic
raped by
Trust.
Obama
You
at a
have select
Denny's.
pages of IRS filings in front of you, or you should, from both of those organizations. The 2019 records are from the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, and the 2020 records are from the Hollywood Historic Trust. So I have Two questions related to those records. Why did the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce
In her sleep.
list over $1 million in other expenses on line 11G of that Form 990 and not report it as required by the IRS on their Schedule O? My second question is, how come both organizations entered zero for the number of independent contractors receiving more than $100,000 when the Hollywood Historic Trust's star repair expenses for 2020 exceeded $700,000 for that tax year? And its administrator, Jackie Lugo, told me over the phone in February of last year that the only contractor who performs work on the Hollywood Walk of Fame stars is Top End Terrazzo. If anyone listening here, is anyone's a nonprofit expert, they can let me know.
You have general public. Please
Thank you.
continue.
Today marks 835 days since January 6, 2021, and the city of Los Angeles is still the only city in America honoring a white supremacist fascist on our street, Donald Trump, who attempted a coup against the United States. The star exists at this council's pleasure. No one has disputed that, and if they have, or if someone does dispute that, I haven't heard any argument to the contrary. This council has the ability to remove it, and I urge you to do so. It's time the star is removed. Thank you.
Emotional
damage.
Candido.
Oh, could you imagine
Perez,
being that dude, wasting your time telling him to come over here every week to remove that stupid
So if
star?
you remind us of your
Imagine
name and
that.
what you signed up for.
Imagine
please.
your life being
My name's Johnny G.
that. Johnny G.
General public comment?
Yes, General Public Comment. I would like to talk about the Mayor Richard Riordan.
Oh, he died.
Good morning, council members. Today, I want to remember Richard Riordan. In 1992-1993, Candido and I worked on the Riordan campaign. He was always intrigued how we were able to get into the mayor's debates. It was because of Miss Nancy Daly. She would always make sure we would get in. Mr. Riordan would look at us and say, "How the hell did you get in?" And he was referring to Candido and myself. He was a kind and giving man. You don't know how many times he helped people and organizations to do good for the city of LA. His name and achievements we will never forget. Let me ask you a question, council members. When you leave these council chambers for the last time, will your name be remembered and will your achievements be recognized? Thank you.
I love the little buzzer.
Thank you.
It's my favorite
Next
part.
speaker, please.
I want to run the buzzer. Oh, Mr. Sachs, let's get it. Let's get it.
Mr. Sachs, which items had you
Hello,
signed up for?
City Attorney. 9, 12, 13, 10, 21, and public comment.
Great.
Oh, I
So
can't
you
wait
have
for
3
his
minutes for those
public
items you
comment.
listed, followed by a minute for general. Please begin, Mr.
So I have a total of 4 minutes.
Yes, but we'll divide
Okay,
it
so
up.
you'll provide me with 4 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to talk about the gun violence. It seems like there's a real rise in gun violence. It's more violent than ever. The amount of killings, amount of multiple killings around the country and in LA has tripled. I appreciate the fact that the city and the LAUSD is celebrating the availability of Narcan to help in drug overdoses. There's more drugs available all over the city. How can that be? Marijuana is more potent than ever.
Let's get it.
What happened to the excise tax that the city was supposed to collect from marijuana sales tax when the new normal was considered back in 2014? Wasn't there an excise tax that the city was supposed to collect?
How you know
They
it's
never
potent?
got that money.
How you know it's potent?
What happened to the president of the city council? Why did he leave? And the clean air grants? Grants are for 20 years. What the fuck good is a grant for 20 years going to do? It does do nothing. The air is dirtier than ever. There's nobody stopping the refineries from working. There's no shutdown of the refineries.
So, Mr. Sachs, I'm a little confused what item you're on. Could you just make it
That's
clear?
Listen, I don't have to give the number. I told you what numbers I'm speaking on. Why is my clock running?
I don't think you're on topic, Mr. Sachs. Please just make it clear.
21 refers to clean California
Okay, go ahead.
grants.
I'll give you some extra time at the end. Please go ahead.
Okay, so that's clean California grants. That's about the air. It's dirtier, it's shittier, there's more dumps, there's more crap, there's more graffiti around the city than ever before.
Earth Day.
And you're sitting here congratulating yourselves? You're lunatics. And uplifting, the efficacy of the city council is mind-boggling.
Right?
Your
True.
laser-like focus. What are you focused on? Oh, these trees. Then Mayor Villaraigosa started a program for 10,000 green trees in L.A. about 15 years ago.
He did.
Sure he did. It was even longer than that when he was mayor. What happened to that? What happened to that?
Just more money spent.
Equality? Equity? What about equality? Faith-based lands? You want to build property on faith-based lands? What does that mean? You're going to close down churches and synagogues? What else you got? You're going to close down mosques to build property? That's fucked up. And this homelessness issue? Why don't you work with the county instead of pulling each other's hair apart? In 2016, it was homeless. And the devastation from the floods and everything that's going on in 2016.
What floods?
You can go into general.
Fuck's he talking about? What floods?
I can. I'm glad that the city again is embracing the availability of Narcan. And the LAUSD, a couple of years ago, they were spending $28,000 per student. How did the graduation rate increase? Oh, I know how. It includes charter schools, which are not part of LAUSD. And neither are STEM schools. They're not part of LAUSD either. So what the hell is going on? And the computers, wasn't the school district supposed to get Apple computers? Did they have a contract? Wasn't that contract fucked up because the Apple computers that were provided sucked? And then the head of the yard school, he was the guy who had to come in and fix that. And Austin Butner was in here when he was LAUSD superintendent. They did a huge report. What the fuck happened to all those recommendations?
The fuck?
What the fuck is going on?
The fuck? Love Mr. Sachs.
Next speaker, please.
And I love that his yarmulke's too far forward. It's the best. That's what makes him even more fucking legendary. He wears it attached to his eyebrows.
16, 20 in general, 22 and general public comment.
Great. So you've got 3 minutes for the items. And
Love him, dog.
Please begin.
Wouldn't take him any different.
Just doing a quorum check. It's good to see another council member walking onto the floor.
I don't know,
we've
Jenny.
Been straddling down to like 6, 7. Now we're back up to 8. I hope the audio is on back there so the ones who aren't here can hear us. Item 16, this is a motion from the disgraced council member, Kevin De Leon, and it's worth highlighting how sloppy his work is. He's got so few motions coming out, but this one lists the location of the LAFC Galaxy game as the Rose Bowl when it was actually at the Dignity Health Sports Park. I mean, I know Councilmember Price gave Councilmember Corian a nice scarf from the LAFC for Christmas. It's just really embarrassing to our council members that are fans of the club to have Kevin just shaming us like this. For item 22, Alberto Convallo is here, and he's kind of the godfather of the expansion of 4118. And I think on 4118 and its effectiveness, I was really taken aback by Bob Blumenfield and his exchange with Councilmember Yaroslavsky the other week. Councilmember Blumenfield said that he agreed with most of her motion, but that he disagreed with the inclusion of some metrics, like the potential impact upon somebody being able to get housed. And Councilmember Blumenfield said, hey, 4118 is a limited tool. It's not intended to help get people housed. But even if that were true, it's just naive to think that 4118 is utilized in a vacuum. Councilmember Blumenfield, wherever you are, what if I told you that 4118 and the way you people employ it in a whack-a-mole fashion, displacing people constantly, might make it harder to house people? And that's
Carla,
just
I don't
something
know.
that a lot of you around the horseshoe don't seem to understand.
Probably not,
I
Carla.
appreciate the council members who led on that motion because it is really important to keep this in mind. For item 9, this is the mayor's declaration on the state of emergency surrounding homelessness. And think back 10 years ago when we started thinking about big solutions like HHH. Ultimately, we overpromised and underdelivered. Voters saw too little progress, and it came far too late.
$2 billion.
And I think if you put that kind of measure in front of voters right now, they'd reject it because they wouldn't trust this council. And I think there's a parallel that can be drawn to our other conversations on charter reform. If you punt and send voters a measure that barely increases the size of council, it doesn't take effect for 10 years, good fucking luck getting anybody to get behind that. And yesterday we saw a number of council members whining about losing a marginable scale in their power. That's the point. Do you not remember what happened here with Jose Huizar, Nuri Martinez, and Mitchell Englander?
That's why we watch it, Carla.
That's the point. For my general public comment,
Look at the guy in red.
I want to take us back to 2021, and we were redrawing the lines.
Watch him.
The only thing as compelling as the case for unifying Koreatown was the case for moving Watts out of District 15. Ultimately, our commissioners all realized that they wanted to do this, but that area was landlocked, and it made it impossible to move Watts out of CD 15 without picking some other community of color to take their neglected place in CD 15. And this is why, long before the Fed dates dropped, Councilmember McCosker, on the campaign trail during the primary, explained that he supported council expansion.
What's he doing right now?
Because he was there during the redistricting process and understood what was happening to Watts and how they had no way out without expansion. So why is it that Councilmember Blumenfield yesterday was talking about minor changes of going up to 17, 19, or 21 when they do not solve that issue with Watts? What are we doing? Why are we putting shit forward if we're not actually dealing with the low-hanging fruit? Who here agrees with Bob and you want to continue to screw over Watts? Who wants to keep on screwing over Watts?
I do. Apparently they all do. If they didn't think anything different, they would say, hey, no, we don't want to screw over Watts. But that doesn't happen. Look at him. There he is. He's coming back. Look at him. Just keep an eye on him the whole time, guys. Just watch him.
17 through 20 in general public comment.
Okay, you have 3 minutes for the item.
All right, so item 9. Karen Bass declared a state of emergency on houselessness a little over 4 months ago. And what's happened since then? 1,000 people have been moved inside. For how long? Who knows? We should be prioritizing an audit of Inside Safe before pouring another $250 million into it. Despite the fact that Inside Safe promises wraparound services, mental health care support, and a path to permanent housing, the people have witnessed the opposite. Our unhoused siblings are left alone in motel rooms without mental health care, wraparound services, or even food. Let's talk about the carceral conditions they have to survive under. Curfews, no visitors, and no visiting from each other's rooms. Some sites lack basic hygiene items, towels, and bedding. But y'all help with the propaganda of this initiative by doing photo ops and heralding this as a step forward when we all know more than 1,000 people became unhoused since this emergency was declared. And we see this emergency and Inside Safe for what it is, the latest iteration of what you all point to say, we're doing something about this problem. Now, item 17, City Hall should have been illuminated blue for the State of City address. It's an abomination to see more money going towards the LAPD. Karen Bass wants to give new recruits a $15,000 bonus. This is on top of the Housing for Hires program that grants them $24,000 over a 2-year period to subsidize their housing. She wants to provide funding to bring back recently retired pigs to the LAPD for up to 12 months. Oops. So we'll have to foot their salary, and then they're going to collect their pension at the same time, just like we do with Chief Michael Moore. There shouldn't be any type of recognition for a budget that makes way for more money to line the pockets of our oppressors. Item 18, $100,000 for a community assessment and public safety survey for a new LAPD Community Safety Partnership at Gilbert Lindsay Recreation Center.
Stinks is in
Who's
front
conducting
row.
the study? No other than Urban Peace Institute, founded by Connie Rice, who declared that she realized that she was a cop when she got a personal police escort from Bill Bratton. And she also said, and I quote, "I now have a parking space next to the chief and I have a badge." That's who will be conducting this survey. Now, I know the Watch the Watchers website from the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition has your utmost attention, but I would encourage you to check out nocsp.org to learn more about how these community policing programs are nothing more than a police strategy that expands surveillance and social control of communities rather than investing in true community needs. Now, items 19 and 20. More 4118 zones being implemented despite this so-called emergency. Heather Hutt, you said that you don't enforce 4118 zones in your district, but you do vote for the establishment and enforcement of those zones in other districts. So show me a time you've never voted on 4118. I hope today will be the first time. Marquise, you want to talk about and acknowledge MRT's legacy? This is part of his legacy. 4118D, as it exists, is what he championed as chair of the Homelessness and Poverty Committee, and we can't begin to measure the amount of harm that's happened in our communities as a result of his quote-unquote leadership. Now, general comment.
Yes.
Nithya, I saw that you put out a thread on LAPD staffing and how you said that with less spending on LAPD salaries due to staffing shortages, LA can prioritize many alternative responses. So let's see you actually stop voting to give police money then. You'd think you'd vote against more than you think you'd vote against more money going to their $221 million overtime budget, but you never have. Now, Curran, $35 million in liability payouts for the LAPD in the last fiscal year. Today, the city awarded money to some of the victims who had their lives changed as a result of the LAPD bombing of a South Central neighborhood. Curran, would you say that these people suing the city are gaming the system? What about the LAPD pigs who blew up their neighborhood? It's taken almost 2 years for one of them to get a 10-day suspension, while the others have gotten away with no type of discipline. Are you going to comment on how they are gaming the system? And lastly, KDL, the workhorse, not the show horse. He's not in the room right now. A workhorse is someone who gets results without seeking or receiving a lot of attention or publicity, but he is the fucking opposite. Does the work you include leaving Little Tokyo elders to go hungry in the rain?
I guess so.
Thank you. Thank
Guys-
you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
Guys, viewer discretion is advised.
Thanks, Mr. Reedy. Your time's expired. We're going to move on to the next speaker. Thanks, Mr. Reedy.
I just want to say viewer
Mr.
discretion.
Reedy, you're disrupting the meeting. Please be quiet so we can get the next speaker.
I just say
Mr.
viewer
Reedy,
discretion, guys. Viewer
be
discretion.
quiet.
Not
We're
this
trying to
guy,
move
but
on
the
to
guy in the
next
red.
speaker.
The one in the red, guys, is going to be quite offensive.
So, Mr. Reedy, you're disrupting the meeting.
Sir, you're going to be asked to leave if you cannot.
So,
Listen, you're still disrupting the meeting and violating room 12.
okay, so I believe that Mr. Reedy has just been ejected from the meeting. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
it's getting
Mr.
spicy.
Myers. Please hold on.
Putting that salt on
You'll
it.
get your full time, Mr. Myers. Mr. Reedy, you've been ordered removed. Please go. We're waiting. Mr. Myers is waiting to speak. Okay. Apologies, Mr. Morris. This is your turn to speak. So, which items would you like to speak on?
Thank you, and I apologize, but at one point, we got to get enough is enough, and you folks have allowed this to go too long. Okay, now I'll start on my 3 items. I want to talk on 9 and 20, which have to deal with the homeless issue. 12, which has to do with gun violence, and then public comment.
Very good. So, we're going to set the clock for 3 minutes. The floor is yours, and then we'll give you a minute for general. Please begin.
Thank you, sir. 9 and 20 has to deal with homeless. You know, the homeless issue in this city is so great and so unbelievable. We're not going to really be able to capture it and control it in the next few years. But what we can do, if you listen to the superintendent, Mr. Cavallo, he talked about the lost kids. If we could focus in on those lost kids and we can identify them and we can move them out of the homeless situation, off the streets and put them into housing, we can be proud of ourselves and say, look, we've taken these kids.
We
and
can
we're
be
turning
proud
their
of
lives
ourselves.
around. The other thing we can focus on is
Not that we can do a good thing for them. We
parent
can be proud of
families,
ourselves first.
Whether they're male or female parent, if we can take them off the streets and give them homes. I have a piece of property out in the valley that I'd like to give at below cost to some family, 3-bedroom home, but
at below cost,
somebody,
not free.
To call me back to give
Below
me advice
cost.
on what I should do. Hopefully, I will hear from them from my district. Let's see, what is the other item?
What
That's
a
the homeless
savior.
issue. Oh, also number 20, I think it is about the streets and removing people off the streets. Listen, folks, we need to make the streets safe for everyone. If you go to Devonshire and the 405, it's so cluttered and so overtaken by the homeless that the public can't. They're literally going into the street there and almost being hit.
Thanks,
now,
Cat
who's
Mobius.
being cheated there? Okay, people are going to lose their lives because we're allowing those streets to be overtaken by the homeless issue. And I'm sorry if some people don't like that, but we have to make the streets safe for everyone. 12. If 12 is about the gun violence. I'm not proud of this. I looked in my safes and I had 53 weapons. 53. And when I hear about all these kids being shot and all the gun violence, I said, what the hell's wrong with me? Why does a man need 53 guns? 53 guns.
This guy's too
Thank God
much,
I'm
man.
sane, you know? Lucky I'm sane. But I have to get rid of those. I have to dispose of those because if I'm going to walk the walk and talk the talk, I have to get rid of those weapons. And I do plan on getting rid of those.
He's a
Lastly
clown,
is public comment. I have to talk about the great Richard Reardon. I ran against him in '97. Why? Because we wanted Van Nuys to be part of a targeted neighborhood initiative, and he didn't want it. Well, we ran against him, and guess what? He invites us back into his office, and we had Van Nuys, and we were able to, I think it was like 12 million total. But he was a great man. When he had his first heart attack, Eli Broad and I were one of the only two people that were allowed to see him. And once again, as John Camara said, he said, how in the hell did you get in here? And I said, I know the nurses. And he goes, well, what do you want? And I go, I want to give you a blessing. And he literally, he cried. He teared up. Because here was a man who had a heart attack, who had all the power, had all the money, and somebody wanted to give him a blessing. And we gave him a blessing back.
This guy, dude.
And so, Mr. Reardon, I hope and I know you're in heaven.
cried.
God bless you. And if you can look upon this council and give them wisdom, let their hearts be kind and good. Because you know what? When you have it all and you're still lost and you have nothing else to give back.
Thank you.
When you
Candido.
have it all
Thank you
like
for your kind
me,
words.
53
Okay,
guns.
next
Okay, guys, I'm going to pause it here for just 1 second. Guys, this next guy, the red, obviously you're going to hear some crazy shit out of his mouth. I don't condone any of it, but this is free speech and it is what it is. So here we go. Viewer discretion is advised.
Herman, Wayne Spindler, Mike Greenspan, Dr. Kendall.
Here we go.
Donald Harlan.
Let's go. He's already filming it.
Hello, Mr. Herman. Which item said you signed up for today?
Mr. Herman. Paging
Which
Mr.
item said
Herman.
you signed up for?
Sir, can you please allow me to get to the
Okay,
podium
we're going to
first?
start your clock.
I'm going to speak on all items and non-agenda public comment. That gives me 4 fucking minutes, asshole. So calm down, relax, homie. I had a bad experience today in this chamber and outside in the rotunda.
Okay, please get
For
on the
record,
items.
Okay? So chill out. Give me my space.
Start with the items, Mr. Herman.
Motion of and where is De Leon, by the way? Oh, he's back. Thank you, De Leon. You're supposed to serve my hood, homie. Regarding illumination, the only illumination is that God hates liars. And then we go into item number, I believe is it 17? Yeah. Karen asked about a special recognition on April 17th to address the illumination at City Hall. Well, like someone said, and they're right, what the fuck are we doing spending money and illumination when you got a fucking homeless crisis and you don't want to illuminate that in a fucked up, corrupted city like ours today?
True.
So spend the money wisely.
Truth.
Then you go into the next one, item 18, regarding police fund. Well, you know what? Fuck the police. The only fund, the safety we need is, as you heard from the superintendent, is to protect our children and give them the best free, appropriate education you can. That's safety. Learning, knowledge, knowing the law, knowing your civil rights, knowing your constitutional rights, 42 U.S.C. 1983, politely, fuck you. Then we go into item 19. Now, let's pass 19, because let's go to 22. Regarding the asshole superintendent, Alberto, Carvalho, for the record. I believe you pronounced that Alberto Carvalho. Well, Mr. Halho, no one cares about you being homeless. I, on the record, have been homeless. I've asked for help. I got an education. I asked for help. I begged for help. And to this day, I got no satisfaction, but I took an action. I fucking sued the school district, you fucking creep. And that's how I took action. 2-time winning with no attorney other than my liability suit against LAUSD, 42 U.S.C. 1983. Children, close your ears. Fuck LAUSD. And then all this giveaway money from trees. Money grows on trees, all these $1 million paid off settlement. All you had to do was give Mr. Spindler $750 and he would have got the fuck out of City Hall. That's all you had to do. This will resolve all these settlements.
So
I'm talking about.
No, so we're going to send you to General. You're
Mr.
totally
Spindler
off
is
topic.
Goat Boy, the original Goat Boy. They're friends.
All right, you dirty nigger. Let me do it this way then. Brandenburg versus Ohio. Brandenburg versus Ohio, you dirty nigger attorney. You want to interrupt me? 42 USC 1983. You want to
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Please,
it's
just stay
my-
on
it's
topic.
my- It's my
stay on
public
topic or
non-agenda
sit down.
comment. A dirty nigger saved the Jews back to Israel. Let's go back to betterment. Save America. We intend to do our part. Give us our state rights. Freedom for the whites, Mr. Curran Price. I'm not the bigot. I don't got 2 wives. All I needed was 1, and I still wasn't happy fucking her. So you know what? I'm going to finish my Brandenburg versus Ohio because in the political arena, yes, it's often abusive. And if you don't like your job of abuse, then fucking do something about homelessness. Do something to make American people proud that you could actually talk the talk, walk the talk, but don't give us fucking bullshit. Fuck you for the record, and all these documents are for
Okay,
the
your
record.
time has expired. Please sit down, Mr. Herman.
Emotional damage.
Oh, guys, like I said, man, viewer discretion advised. I don't condone any of that
Mr.
speech or
Herman,
talk. You guys
please-
know I don't use that.
please leave. Go
That
sit
kind of
down.
language. But again, it's viewer. It's all live, uncut, and that's what's going to
You're
happen
disrupting the
sometimes.
meeting.
You know,
If you do it again, we're going to ask you
it's
to leave.
unfortunate, but that's what
Mr.
happens
Greenspan,
sometimes.
which items had you signed up for?
You know me, Mike Greenspan, 9 through 22, plus general public comment.
I don't remember Mike Greenspan.
Okay, let's start out with 9. Karen Bass, the homeless emergency. You know, years ago when growing up, I used to see these red, white, and blue wooden signs. Federal HUD. Now, Karen Bass was in Washington. Where's that old federal HUD money with public housing? All we have been building is luxury apartments. Nobody's going to go from a tent to living in a luxury apartment. As Mr. Herman said, money doesn't grow on trees.
But remember,
And
they're
we
on YouTube,
rejected
too.
The guy who thought
So they
money
should ban
grew on
them, too.
trees for city controller. So until we get the right kind of housing built, we'll never solve the homeless problem. Now, we got this thing.
Look at him back there. He's
I
still
see
fucking
Gary
around.
Owen's
Keep an eye
name
on him.
Is on a couple of things. What is it? Which one? 15 and 16. Krikorian for De Leon. Well, what the fuck is De Leon doing here? He should have resigned for his racism and his anti-Semitism and his intolerance instead of being on the titties of the taxpayers getting a $225,000 a year welfare check. Now, we go further and we go to item 18, the Los Angeles Pig Department. Over there in Council District 9, about building a community safety partnership program. We're talking about $100,000, but these are those racist white Republican pigs who spent $5 million in independent
Fucking
expenditure
Bellinger.
money for RIC, KKK, Caruso for mayor because they didn't want to see a swastika gal in the mayor's office. And as long as Karen Bass is there, I'm going to say that about you racist white Republican pigs every time we are giving money away. I know, 100,000, all we're talking about is basically 100 sheets of Angelino Jewish toilet paper. But there's a principle to it. If you have $5 million to spend on an independent expenditure committee, you sure don't need our $100,000. Reach into your pig union fund. It's a very deep-pocketed fund. We don't need to have every little thing. Now about the homeless thing on the faith base, I got a great location where we can build something. Let's record ball Herbie Wesson's church and then put the land to a higher and better use, building something for the homeless, maybe even HUD housing. Boy, wouldn't that be something? Yeah.
Emotional damage.
Mike Greenspan, and couple things that have had me upset. First of all, with these independent expenditure committees, Yeah, both of them had it. What Bass had.
No way.
Jeffrey Katzenberg and Jewish Hollywood,
Back to back?
850,000.
Come on.
And then those racist white Republican pigs who helped to pollute our airwaves with that Rick Caruso ad, $5 million. Where do they get this money? Well, from the union dues, from the money we overpay them, from having too many of them on the force. They aren't doing anything but fucking us over. And then they go home to their Santa Claritas and their Simi Valleys. 80% of them do not live in the city. Why don't we at least recruit people who live in the city
Still in the
to be on
county?
the police force instead of a bunch of commuting Republicans from Simi Valley and Santa Clarita, those racist white Republican pigs.
Does he have a dick on his back? I swear to God he does. Look at his back when he turns around. This fool's a swastika. This motherfucker. He has a dick on his back. He has a dick on his back. Bro, he had a dick on his back.
Spindler.
You screenshot that. That fool had a dick on his
Ronald
back.
Harlan, Garcia Anthony.
Bro,
Mr. G,
he had a dick and balls
Camille
on
Lewis,
his back, dude.
Oh, hell no.
Cliff.
These
Kelly
fools are
Cliff,
just crazy.
Kilroy, and Tommy.
Hi, Mr. Harlan. Which items?
Look
did you
more like a
bring for
dick
today?
to me than an
Hi, I'm
arrow.
Donald Harlan. I'm
Yes,
speaking
Mr.
agenda items number 2, number 6, number 7, number 9, number 10, number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay.
And general comment.
So some of the items we've already taken up, but you can talk on items 9 through 22. You can talk about the others in general.
Okay.
So we'll set the clock for 3 minutes for 9 through 22, and then a minute for general for the other stuff. And just a reminder, please don't shout into the mic so that our
sorry.
interpreters'
Sorry,
ears
I'm
are
terrible.
I'm terrible.
Please begin.
Hi, agenda item number 9. Mayor Karen Bass's homeless emergency declaration. Oh, another emergency declaration. Didn't you guys create the homeless crisis?
Yes. Well, not created,
Number
but
10.
you perpetuated
Mayor Karen Bass's rainstorm declaration. Another emergency declaration. Oh my God. And then number 17. Mayor Karen Bass's State of the City Address Disaster Declaration. They want to light the city hall. Wow, there's 3 disaster declarations right there. Agenda item number 13, low-income housing for faith-based lands, suggested by Yaroslavsky and Raman. Yeah, I might challenge the ownership for many of those churches your people built illegally on my property. How would you like it if some fool showed up and built a church on your property? You wouldn't like it at all, would you?
Nope.
Agenda item number 14, Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah, they need to stop making Hollywood stars. Who owns the Hollywood Trust account for that?
Harlan does.
They don't have the owner for it. Does Donald Duck own the Hollywood Trust account? Should they be putting any fucking stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Isn't there rules for that?
You care about the rules?
Number 16, that sounds like a fun game the local soccer team's playing. Number 15, the LA Business Improvement District, sponsored by Paul Krikorian for the Historic District. Wow, what a disaster, those guys. A bunch of guys in purple riding around on bicycles, placing people in buildings illegally. You wonder why all those buildings are empty and there's all those crimes, all that crime, drug use. Here's Paul Krikorian sponsoring his people in the business improvement districts.
Yeah, we haven't got to the callers yet.
And the item number, 9, the homeless emergency declaration. Oh my God, Karen Bass. Another emergency declaration disaster. Rainstorm disaster. You know, they should use, if you guys get money for rainstorm disasters, You guys should dredge the reservoirs and clean the trash out of the riverbeds.
It's true, though.
That would do a lot. General comment?
Yep, please continue, General.
Agenda item number 2, Bunker Hill Parcel Y1, Angels Landing. I own that. That's my property. Says here you modified the assessor report 2017, 2012, 1989. I'm the original owner from 1976, 1978. Donald owns Bunker Hill. Agenda item number 6. ARPA. I challenge ARPA funding. I believe Homeland Security sold a bunch of illegal real estate, a bunch of old folks home. They were harvesting old people in the Homeland Security. And they have all of a sudden they have 1,000 old folks homes they're selling. They got $1 trillion of ARPA money killing old people.
Harvesting old
Number
people.
7, the LA City, California's public employees retirement for LA Coliseum. Nobody's retiring out of the Coliseum, my property, especially from the state of California.
Thanks, Mr. Harlan.
Fucking
And
you.
thanks for not shouting into the mic.
Thanks for not shouting into the
As
mic
the
to the
next,
very last. Thanks for
speaker
taking
comes
your
up,
pills today.
Councilmember Soto Martinez has an announcement.
Thanks for taking your pills.
The committee meeting, we have it at 1, but it looks like we might be a little tight, so we're going to move it to 1:30. And for the public, Civil Rights, Aging, Equity, and Disability Committee, we at 1:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Hi, Speaker. So if you'd remind us of the name you signed up under and what items you want to speak
Yeah,
on.
Dr. Truth Bay. Current price. Her name is Dr. Truth Bay, not Dr. K. Cree, whatever you just mentioned. Very simple. All agenda items.
Okay,
and
so you
public
have 3
comments.
minutes.
Don't
for
even pay
items
attention.
9 through
See a doctor, right?
22.
I wanna
Please
pay
begin.
attention.
Okay, let's start with 12. AB 12 from Gabriel, which expresses the intent of legislator to enact legislation that would enact a tax. I'm gonna circle that.
Just
tax
crazy,
on
Ivan. He
firearms
knows
and
nothing.
ammunition to protect against gun violence. Does any of that make sense to anyone? Since when does a tax prevent gun violence? You know what prevents gun violence? Is when you teach your suburban kids, like Yaroslavli and Krikorian, have their kids be relative to others so they don't feel like they have to take out a whole school because they're in their feelings. A tax is not going to stop gun violence. So the fact that this was even here by Park and Krikorian,
Now it's suburban kids.
you know, but Yaroslavli and Krikorian, can you stop having a conversation for the 3 minutes that I'm up here, please? Because this is addressed to you. When you don't solve homelessness in your district, you have all the audacity to listen right now. The Homeless and Poverty Committee was atrocious. You had Nathaniel Vidal was mumbling and stumbling, talking about the EHV vouchers. He started out at the Good Shepherd and Downtown Women's Center like they're the only 2 shelters that you're giving contracts to, when you got hundreds of homeless black and brown women out here, but most of them look like me. Marquise Harris Dawson is not here today. He wasn't there at the Homeless Committee on the 19th. Nynthia Rahman, where is she? So when you guys keep funding LASA, you keep hiring and putting more agendas, and then you have Tasha Sands, I believe, that you appointed to LASA. When are you guys going to get rid of LASA? It's an 800-member joint powers authority that wasted money since 1994. You guys can't figure that stuff out? $75 million just to keep them open? So Blumenfield was probably the only noble one at the Homeless Committee meeting that made sense. And I'm sorry you had to deal with a broken system that no one's listening to. Buscaino, before he left, was the only one that said, I want to dismantle LASA. The county is not doing their part. Horvath, right? Solis, Hahn, right? Barger, right? And Mitchell. 5 ladies cannot properly supervise 10 million people. It's a failure. And when we guys are up here giving you solutions, give us the time of day to even listen. You have 1,300 black families and brown families that registered for an EHV voucher, and LASA fumbled the ball. But what do? You hire them. You throw more money at them. You say, hey, let's have some more representative talk more shit. While you got families sleeping in their cars, and Marquise Harris Dawson goes out of his way with his ragtag non-homeless deputy that he has, Denise Jackson. Really?
Aiden Biniam. Really? That's your homeless deputy? Mr. Lee, you still using LASA. Why? So we're asking for new contracts. Public comment? We're asking for new contracts, and we're asking for the new council people to please toe the line, do something different. You have people in positions that are not trained with art degrees that are homeless deputies. They don't call you back. We're tired of District 8. I live in District 8, born and raised. Every time I'm trying to bring a contract to Marquise, he goes out of his way to disrespect us. For what? He's a gang member. He's the one that killed Nipsey. Yes, I said it. So what you gonna do about it? Cancel me? If anything should happen to me, it's District 8. And then you appoint Heather Hutt instead of having a special election, and the Vision Theater is still blocked, closed, nothing for our young people, and you wonder why gun violence is at a high rate? You want to throw taxes at it instead of sensible staff members? Do you respect the people that elected you in that seat to begin with? By hiring staff members that are responsible. So I'm going to ask for the homeless deputy for District 7 for the contracts that you have to work with us.
She was doing great, bringing up a lot of good, a lot of good points. And then all of a sudden she went off.
I can actually hear you all the way up here, so I'm sure it's disruptive, for example, to Mr. Ruddick.
Mr. Harlow's be allowed.
Quieter.
And then she talked about Nipsey Hussle getting killed by Marquise.
Miss Lewis, which items had you signed up for today? So if you speak into the mic, it would help.
Put a microphone in my jacket. If
Okay, we're going to start your time for general public comment.
She won't speak into the mic.
Put a microphone on me, fuck around and find out if I do it. If this microphone goes off today, I will have my friend's husband put a microphone on this jacket. Turn the microphone off today. Fuck around and find out. Turn this goddamn microphone off today, and I swear to you, I will have her husband put something 10 times fucking
Thank you, ma'am.
louder. Can you turn it off? I'm asking you right now. Are you going to turn the microphone off?
Yes.
Are you going to make your comment?
You've got 30 seconds left, Miss Lewis.
You've got 30 seconds left. You've been fired and fucking around.
Going to turn it off today?
Okay, so clearly you don't want to say anything else, so we're going to end your public comment and we'll go on to the next speaker.
Thank you.
Guess you're going to have your husband put that mic in your jacket.
Ms. Lewis, you're now disrupting the meeting. If you don't stop, you'll be forced to leave.
Damn
Ms.
it.
Lewis, no.
Mrs. Lewis, you're disrupting the meeting. You're violating room 12. I'm ordering you to immediately leave the meeting quietly. If you don't, you're going to be removed. So please.
You've been ordered to leave quietly, Miss Lewis. Please do it. Miss Lewis. Miss Lewis.
Okay.
So
I'm ordering you removed, ma'am. I'm going to order you to be removed from this meeting. Thank you.
Miss Lewis, you've been ordered removed. Please leave.
Okay, we're going to close public comment here in chambers and go to the phones.
Crazy. All right, we're going to go to the phones now here, guys.
First caller, which
First
items
caller.
would you like to speak on?
I got to run in the other room.
Yes,
and
I'd like to speak on
do,
9.
do something really quick. I'll be right back in 30
General
seconds or
public
so,
comment.
guys. Be right
Great.
back.
So you have 2 minutes for those two items, followed by a minute for general. Please begin.
Again, the appointment to so many people to find this kind of numbers. Is everyone out there just getting statistics, or are they actually getting some results? Are the quarterly reports that bring these numbers back to you so you can move on them, defund it, or reinstate it? Or is it just a piece of paper that hits the desk and says, hey, we need more money? Number 12. It's a little different to sit back and watch things happen in this community and say a tax is going to change the resolve of of gun violence. Unless you grew up in that environment, it just brings no sense. It's about really being amongst your people to know what's going to stop it. Being around your families and giving that time to your families to be able to stop it, that one-on-one intervention. Because if you see it, you can stop it. There's no way people can hide something in your own house. And if they don't, and if they are doing it, then there's something lost in your own home. But we need to be there to make sure that that doesn't happen for the youth, the next generation. Taxes, you're just increasing what? People that can pay them. Only people that buy firearms or that, they'll pay it. They're going to have it. The criminals will not be buying them from a store. So taxes will not apply to anything there that you're going to make happen. To appoint someone to go look at it, study it, is that what you're doing? You already got it. You already see how many people are dying, how many people are doing reckless things, and what's causing it. That's the study you should have. 17, going into a point of, it becomes an incredible thing too, that we can't see that the properties and everything that surround us is not being, again, we're going back to funding. But what is it really creating? It makes no sense again. Illuminating City Hall, and it takes $400. The lights are there. For someone to hit the switch, is that overtime? 18. Going into the police thing, I think we should have Mr. Perez come in and audit the police instead of giving them more money. How do you have 1,000 less officers and you need more money? You need more money and you keep just handing out checks. I think Sergio Perez the auditor, should come in and look at the numbers and see where the papers are. They just making receipts and someone's just paying them? Because it makes no sense. You got 800 more less officers.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Did I miss some craziness?
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
I was hustling as fast as I could.
Caller with the last four digits 5245. Please press *6 to unmute.
I'm
Go,
here.
boy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear. Which items would you like to speak on?
I didn't use the bathroom today. I had to go
Yes,
outside, open up the
9,
the
10,
gate.
11, 14, 18, and general public comment, unless petty face-faced dictator cuts me off.
So you've got 3 minutes for the items, and then we'll give you a minute for general. So
Didn't
please
miss
begin.
him.
Wonderful. Good morning, public.
Good morning.
The LA City Council is a criminally insane organization of organized crime, and these stupid presentations doesn't change that. Item number, which should be put at the end of the meeting, you can talk all you want. Number 9.
It's true.
Emergency homeless declaration.
Smoke.
We have, again, 1,000 homeless declarations. The state of emergency is the Los Angeles Sleazy Council. The state of emergency is our corrupt, incompetent government. That is the state of emergency, and this number 9 should state that specifically. These no-bid contracts is all part of the criminality, the looting. Since 2011 to date, I think we've spent over $7 billion, public $7 billion. That doesn't include the next round. Bass wants 1.3 billion, and ULA on top of that. Homelessness has doubled. We're at over 80,000. Let's point that out while these people are cheesing and smiling and grinning with their presentations at LA Unified Earth Day in Liberty Hill. 80,000 homeless people. You should have mentioned that in your stupid, crappy presentation. And this declaration of a state of emergency should include all of that. 80,000 homeless people by this incompetent, corrupt government. You have number 10 and 11, rainstorms, more state of emergency. We're governing by emergency. This council will go down in history. We have number 19 and 20 by racist Asian John Lee. More 4118 motions. And these coon, Tom, Sambo, Negroes are going to vote for evicting their own people from freeway underpasses because that's what they're for. That's where they put Heather Hutt, selected her, like Price and Marquise Dawson. Evicting people from underpasses. When you have 80,000 addicted, mentally ill people on the streets, evicting homeless people from freeway underpasses.
You can go to general if you want.
Thank you, sir. At the same time, they're giving dog and cat animal home giveaways by racist LAPD clone Tracy Park. 80,000 homeless, evicting people from underpasses and giving away dog and cat homes. Disgrace to humanity. The corruption, these no-bid contracts are off the chain. Yes, Marquise Dawson at the same time giving this criminal $10 million in luxury offices, and petty pink-faced dictator Krikorian, Bloomfield, and all these other clowns all vote for it constantly. When is the money train going to end? It all goes to the nonprofits. The homeless just keep getting bigger and bigger. It's an addiction and a mental ill crisis, not just a homeless crisis.
Thank you
and
very
they
much.
have
Next speaker.
And
Okay,
they
thank
hang
you. We're
up
going to
on
take 3 more calls, please.
Well, come
3
on,
more
go boy.
calls.
Hopefully you're one of the 3.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
See, they wasted too much time talking themselves.
Thank you. It's Eric Brevin from Studio City.
Eric Brevin.
And I'd like to speak on the available items in a general public comment.
Very good, Mr. Previn. So you have 3 minutes for items 9 through 22. Please stay on topic, followed by a minute for general.
He
Please
calls
begin.
in every day.
Well, 9 is a good umbrella because it has to do with homeless funding. And I know today was a pageant of the masters, as we heard from the LAUSD chief. We heard from Mr. De Leon. We heard from so many of the windbags. It was very moving and very appropriate to move forward with safety in mind. That said, nobody is excited about the deployment of 4118, and it makes a degree of sense to kind of try to reform that in some way. I don't know, exactly where this council is going because there seems to be a division about the best way forward. I like the STAR presentation a lot because it sounded like they were going to try to divert and help, but we have a real problem, as Yaroslavsky said on the news. There's just not enough places to put people. So this is where I think we have to turn to the office buildings downtown that are empty because people have realized they don't want to work for the man in a shitty office. They want to
stay at home,
do something else, or work from home where they can. And I think we need to collectively join hands and support people working without doing too much commuting and traveling. Because remember, it is the commuting and the traveling that is causing the worst air numbers in the history of the world are right here in Los Angeles. They just came out again, the 2023 report. And so that's why we have to take seriously what the progressive flank is talking about and what Krikorian is preparing to lubricate his re-entry to society over at LADWP, which you can feel. He sent Matt Hale over as a little mole to get things organized before he jumps over to become the
I'm watching them, Matt.
LADWP.
They're on the Dodger
corruption
channel right now.
czar.
They're down 5-0.
In any case, the hat goes off to Blumenfield, who is going to be kicking off the budget hearings after quickly settling with the public on a reasonable protocol that's
So
not
can-
violating the Brown.
I got a big TV
So,
on the
Mr.
wall.
Previn,
So I
can
put
we
that up.
get on the
certain
agenda
games.
items? I think you veered off.
Well, I thought my timing is good because I've taken it right to the 1 minute where I'm going to remind you that we need to meet and confer so that you don't make the same mistake you've made in the past.
So are you going on to general public comment, Mr. Previn?
Yeah, but you got to make it a zero out because you keep interrupting my headpiece. so let me finish, and I'll give me a full minute to put you on notice. Okay, are we ready to go? Thank you, and no disrespect to your excellent work. It's very, very high profile, and there's a quality assessment that we're working on. We'll get a report back soon on that. The budget of the City of Los Angeles is not one agenda item. Okay, it's multiple items, and each department has to be heard as such, because then we can hear from the department heads who we respect, give a little feedback, move on to the next item. They can come back for many days of hearing, but every day has to be taken like a regular special meeting. You have to take a quorum. You have to check for a quorum. You have to take attendance. These are part of the Brown Act. So the charade is over. We don't mind doing that because that sounds completely sensible. Bloomfield has a tippy-toed out in front of the city on a tightrope built by Krikorian to try to allege that by taking comments only one day by telephone, that should suffice. What? I mean, and plus, what's written on the face of the agenda schedule for the budget hearings is incomprehensible. You could ask any of the reporters. It's not quite clear. That's not a disrespect to you. It's just that you're trying so hard to break the rule and the law and bend it to your crazy ways that you're missing the forest through the trees.
Thanks, Mr. Previn.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
Caller,
Caller with the last four digits 1148. Please press star 6 to unmute.
So speaker with the digits 1148. Please press star 6 right away. No? Okay, I guess we should move on.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
Hi, caller. Trying to get it down.
Caller
Perfect.
with the last four digits 3784. Please press star 6 to unmute.
All right.
Hi.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone except fascists and their defenders. My name is Mr. G. I'll be speaking on 9, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and general public comment.
Mr. G! You have 3 minutes for the item, followed by a minute for general. Please begin.
Smoke. All right. So,
We're on
starting
round 5.
off with item number 9. Item 9 is renewing the backdoor citywide 4118 expansion. Oh wait, I mean the
that's
state
our
of
homeboy.
emergency on homelessness for another month or something. This whole thing on the emergency is really kind of ridiculous.
Counter.
Because you know, how do you have a state of emergency on homelessness and not have an eviction moratorium? That doesn't even make sense. This whole emergency has nothing to do with solving the crisis or anything. It just has, all it is they want to, Karen Bass wants to sweep people without having to add another 4118 zone in the vote and city council, having to deal with public comment, anything like that. She just wants to do her own sweep. So let's come up with a different process that involves getting people housing and services. And yeah, so moving on to item number, items 14 and 15 are both, 14 is adding Hollywood Walk of Fame star. We don't need that right now. Got more important things to do than Hollywood Walk of Fame stars. Item 15 is a KDL motion for a business improvement district. It was introduced last week. KDL wasn't even here, but the illegitimate council president who was installed to uphold business as usual introduced it for him. Vote no on KDL's motions. He shouldn't get anything passed. He's a fucking racist. Item 16 is another KDL motion. Same thing as item 15. I don't really have any objections to either of these. I mean, 14 is a little bit, but it doesn't matter what the item is. Just don't vote for a KDL motion, please. Let's not give them that power. Moving on to item 17, lighting up City Hall for the State of the City address. That was a terrible address. She wants to give more money to the cops. The cops are fucking fascists. And lighting up City Hall doesn't do anything. Item 18 is a community safety partnership with the LAPD and CD9. It sounds like community policing or something. That does not work. That does not keep people safe. It just adds more cops into the community, which causes more harm, especially to black and brown people. Item 19 is a 4118 motion. Item 19 and 20 are both 4118 motions. vote no on this. Abolish 4118 completely. 4118 needs to go. It's not solving the problem, and it's not getting people housed or services. So let's do something else. All right, general public comment.
Sure.
For general public comment, I'd like to talk about how people keep talking about how fascism is coming and fascism is coming. But it seems to me like fascism is already here. And this is in the city of Los Angeles, which is supposedly, a beacon of democracy and hope and, all that stuff. But instead, what we're seeing is that we're having LAPD officers like Marco Duarte and Felipe Graciano going and arresting a disabled, non-binary person for standing up against someone holding a swastika in the rotunda. And the person was thankfully released, has a lot of injuries, had to go to the hospital. So this is really fucking terrible, and you all need to stand up against this. So remove those fucking cops. They need to be fired, and fuck you all. Get out, Kevin De Leon.
Okay, next speaker.
31 ums, baby. 31 ums.
Caller, which item would you like to speak
Well, it's got to be rookie. Guys, we're going to do over-under ums when we see them next time. Over-under thumb. Ums.
Hello?
31
Hi.
ums. 31.
Which items?
Okay, thank you. I would like to comment on items number 9, 19, 20, 22, and then general public comment, please.
So, fantastic. So you have 3 minutes for the items.
Really?
Followed by a minute for general.
Come on.
Please
You
begin,
kidding me?
I would like to just express my support for what our new mayor is trying to do.
7-0 Cubbies.
We're watching people live and die on
8-0
every day here
Cubbies.
in Hollywood. I just want more people to support her. It is a humanitarian crisis. So that I needed to just say that because a lot of people will be critical, but this is way better than where we were before. Number 19 and 20, thank you, council members. Lee and Blumenfield and for Lee and Park for caring about your community.
Wish him crushed that.
And trying to help out your sensitive areas, not have to endure what we go through with dangers and encampments blocking our ways. I'm so grateful, number 22, to our new LAUSD head for touring our schools and witnessing what the children and the school staff have to endure to get into their schools. No one should have to be put through that. These are hardworking class people. It is insane. I totally support 4118. Any council members opposed to that really need to look into their hearts, and shame on them that they do not care about the lives and well-being and the threats that those school staff and children have to endure every day. As far as general comment, the Hollywood Community Plan is going to the Plum Committee on Monday. The Planning Commissioners voted for Uber upzoning in the regional center beyond planning staff recommendations, even though the feasibility study confirmed that would prohibit any affordable being built, and it threatens our Hollywood historic resources. We are begging you not to approve the upzoning in the regional center as it is now. Thank you so much for all your work. Thank you.
Shout out to Marianne. Rafal? Yeah, there's
Okay,
usually
taking
Oiler
public
fans here.
comment. I'm going to close the phone lines.
Man.
And close public comment on all items.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
wish
councilors
him
were
crushed
now able
that
to
ball.
vote
The
on
wind's
some items.
blowing
Mr.
out,
Clerk,
of course, but that
which
ball was
items are
crushed.
before us at this time?
Mr. President, the council will now vote on items 1, 10, 11, and 14 through 17.
Of course, Belly hit
Okay,
a
those
bomb
items are
against
before
us.
Any
Wouldn't
comments,
you know
members?
it?
Seeing none, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
Goddamn Bellinger.
13 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, what is next?
Mr. President, the council may now consider and vote on item 18, called special by Councilmember Hernandez, for a separate vote.
Okay, members, that item is now before us.
Not even a mask.
Any
It's a full
comment?
diaper, Sonic.
Let's open the roll.
Like, I think that's a kid's
Close the
diaper
roll,
that he
tabulate
just
the vote.
stitched some yarn on the side to put it on his face or something like that.
11 ayes, 2 noes.
Thing is huge.
Okay, thank you.
That's what she said.
Next item, please.
The council may now consider and vote on item 19, called special by Councilmember Hernandez, for a separate vote.
Okay, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
8 ayes, 5 noes.
This item is adopted.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Pedo mask. Pedos wear those now?
The
Is that
council
like a
may now
pedo thing?
vote.
Didn't know they even
excuse
wore
me,
masks.
The council may now consider and vote on item 5, called special by Councilmember Park for questions.
Councilmember Park.
Really, dude? Come on.
President, I think
9-0
we may have some
Cubs.
staff here from the city tourism department. And if we do, if they could come
Is there a
forward.
10-run rule, man? Did they implement that this year? Hopefully. It's like RBI. It's a 10-run rule. Fucking 9-0 in the 5th. Holy shit. The wind's blowing out, man, in Chicago. So those balls are carrying, boy. Dodger pitchers are getting roughed up.
Ms. Nakashima, thank you so much for being here this morning. And just to give some context
Didn't
to
you
folks
give us
who
enough
may
with the
be,
cat?
joining us and not familiar with this item, this relates to potential RFP for
Reed's pitching
tourist
now for the Dodgers,
kiosks,
but it was
electronic
Urias.
kiosks.
Julio got
And
roughed
so for
up.
those of us who are new around the horseshoe and also keeping in mind
And
that
Reed's
this
not
month in
doing any
trade,
better.
travel and tourism, before I was the chair of that committee, if you could maybe just walk us through what is different between what's in front of us today and what was in the original motion.
Let me ask you guys something. I got to be honest with you. So they've closed public comment on the phones. They've closed public comment in the chambers. And again, unless there's any kind of disruption while they're talking, you're really not going to have any action. So I ask you this. Should we just stop the stream now? Yes or no? You guys let me know. Or do you guys want to just go to the end and listen to their spiel? Yes or no? YRN in the chat room. I'll let you guys decide.
The feedback that we've received and the complexity of the project, we are now in support of the motion to move forward with an RFP. And so in terms of what that RFP will
No
look like,
as in-
the item before you today does not obligate the city
Yes,
to
and
enter
the
into
stream?
a contract. It would be
No,
doing
don't
a
end the
new
stream.
competitive
Okay.
bid
There's
process
a few
to
yeses,
select
end
a
it. There's
vendor
more
for
no's.
executing this project.
More yeses to end it.
Thank you for that clarification on
Yes,
that.
end it.
A couple follow-ups to that, and there is some controversy
No reason to check for
around
Jay's.
this concept.
It would
and
go
I
off on
think
my
that,
phone.
You know, there
Trust
are certain places where these kiosks may make sense
Keep
in
it
and
on.
around
Yes,
LAX
end
is
it.
one location that comes to mind immediately, but perhaps the beach in the Pacific Palisades or certain residences.
All right, here we're gonna. This is what we're gonna do because I can't hear her in like full volume. She's just like projecting too much. So I'm gonna hit. Let's hit one more bowl together and then we're out. Because again, they're just gonna talk about themselves and all the garbage that they're doing. You know, all the fun, all the fireworks. You know, and that's the fucked up part. When you really look at it, guys, they wasted over an hour and like 20 minutes talking to the LAUSD superintendent and all the other things, and having the cat brought out and all that shit, right? And wasted all the time up that should have went to the public. So the public only really got what, 10 speakers in chambers, maybe 12. And on the phones, what did we get? 5 maximum? I mean, I walked out on 1. I don't know if I missed 2 when I walked out. I don't think I was gone that long. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, they're swallowing up all that time, and then they come back and do this shit. It's like, dude, you know, work for your money. These motherfuckers are making 6 figures. They're making good money, like some doctors make. Don't let it fucking fool you. Okay? And then some of them also have side businesses too. Okay? They own real estate. They own restaurants. They own bars. You know what I mean? So don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? And then the little time they do give you, they don't even fucking listen to you. They don't even pay attention. They're sidebarring. They're on their phone. They're getting coffee. Half of them are in the back. I mean, how fucked up is it? You know, how fucked up is it? And if you did that to them, they'd be so fucking offended. They'd call you a bigot. They'd call you a racist. You know what I mean? You're a commie. You don't want to hear my side of it. Yeah. But they do it, all fine. And anytime anybody starts speaking facts, they cut the phone. And that's the problem, guys. That's why you have absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this is why you can't have all of one side. Now, I don't give a shit about either side, but the problem of not having an equal power to each is this, where the spending just keeps going. Everybody's scratching each other's backs to get these initiatives passed. Nothing gets done. The grift continues, and there's no opposition. The only opposition is a few people like Mr. Sachs and Harlan that are in there yelling. And it's crazy, and as insane as most of them may be, a lot of them are speaking a lot of fucking real fact there. You know, there's a lot of truth to some of the shit that they're saying. Certainly not how they own all the property, but a lot of what they're doing and how they're spending and how they're not giving a shit is all real and true. So, you know, it's just fucked up, man. You know, these motherfuckers put on a mask. They pat each other on the back saying how awesome. They pat themselves on the back telling you how awesome they are. And I guarantee you, any of the districts you name, we'll meet up. We'll all go down there and let's go walk around. See how awesome it is. How clean and nice. And we'll see. Let's just go see. In fact, we were with AXN last night. Hey, shout out to AXN News. He was driving around just in downtown. It looked so goddamn horrible. Straight fucking, what's that shit? Walking Dead. Just like Walking Dead. Zombies everywhere. Just so many tents. You couldn't even walk in the street. I mean, you'd have to walk in the street. You couldn't walk on the sidewalk. If you're a mother or a father with a stroller, you are forced to have your kid and yourself in the goddamn gutter, which you know is fucking filthy. Okay? And then you got to bring that home. Okay? You're forced to do that. And God forbid somebody's not paying attention on their phone and they slam into you because you're now in the street. And you can't use the sidewalk you pay for. You paid for that sidewalk. You pay for it. Okay? It's your sidewalk too. And people who aren't mad at that, it's angry. You know, it's and you know, again, these encampments, they don't give a fuck about anybody. You know, it's ridiculous. All they do is care about themselves. They don't care about the business or the house or the apartment building that they're piled up in front of with all their garbage. When it goes up, the fucking building goes up. What about the little kids and the senior citizen who's 90 who can't get down the stairs? Fuck him or fuck her, right? You know, it's so much more to it. There's so many layers to it, man. You can't just look at it blindly. It's all, you know, there's zero accountability by anybody, by the homeless community. Because again, they're just, most of them are grifters. Okay. On top of that, there's no accountabilities with these guys because they just grift sales tax and other taxes that they push on us. Oh my God. Are you kidding me right now? It's 11-0. Holy shit. No, my God. It's 12-0. Nico Horner with a 3-run bomb. Holy shit. It's 12-0 Cubs. Nico Horner just fucking hit a ding-dong. Fucking A. God damn it. What's going on? Crush that shit.
This ball is crushed.
Man, there's got to be a 10-run rule. It's 12-0 in the fifth. It's fucking 12-0 in the fifth. I want to say that there's been 2 3-run home runs hit in this inning. I want to say there was 2 3-run home runs hit in this inning. Nico Horner just hit one. That was a 3-run bomb. And who was the other one? Wisham. Patrick Wisham hit a 3-run home run in this very same inning. Am I not mistaken? If somebody could go onto their phone and tell me and show me, I want to say that there's been 2 3-run home runs. And there might have been 7. There might have been 3 home runs in this inning because I want to say Bellinger hit a solo blast, I think. Not sure. What fucking happened is what's happening, Sam. It's still going on. Dansby Swanson's at bat. Only one out. Bottom of the 5th. Dodgers are down 12-0 in Chicago. Wind's blowing out. It's whipping. The wind is whipping, so, but that doesn't mean anything. That means the Dodgers should be scoring too, and they're not. So, yeah. Hold on a second. I need to check it out. Give me a second. I want to look. I'm curious really quickly. Oh, let's learn the races. Sorry.
0033.
See if they're talking behind the races.
The details of the spending with regards to Inside Safe to this point. So while I know it is a
the Dodgers are being no hit through 5 innings. By the way, they're down 12-0. A no hitter going.
Just more than anything, just some informational questions. And I thank you again for coming by. The questions I had, Mr. Sabo, are
Drew Smiley
how
got the
many
no-hitter
contracts
going
do
for
we
the
have
Cubbies.
Right now? I think it's
Hopefully I
approximately
just
16 or
jinxed it
17
for him.
Currently have, and just as importantly, do we know what the duration of all these individual contracts are?
Yes, Wisham hit a 3-run blast,
Excuse me.
and Horner hit a 3-run blast, all in the same
By
inning.
contracts, you mean even contracts with the service providers conducting the outreach and the play.
And just to let you know, in the 3rd inning, Belly hit a single solo home run, and so did Mancini. Wow.
As of our
5
current
home runs
assessment
hit, or 4 home runs hit by
that
the
we
Cubbies.
issued to the council, which has a cutoff
2
date
3-run
of
blasts.
March 31st. We have 10 service providers.
And Swans
that
and
we've-
Dansby
that we've,
Swanson gets on.
Worked with. And in addition,
Jesus.
we have the service provider for the LA Grant.
Dude, Andre Jackson is straight trash, dude.
So that would be a total
Dude, it's
of
horrible.
Of 11.
11, okay.
His ERA must be like 50.
Okay, 11. And the duration, it expires when? Do they all universally have the same expiration date, or are they all individually?
What's up, Brock Purdy?
Have different dates.
So what we've done in order to
Dude's
manage
hair is awesome.
the costs, as this is an ongoing effort, is that the service
It's like it's
providers
all
that are
shaved,
conducting
but the front, it's got a little beaver tail up
the
front.
outreach and
It's
the
like
placements
semi-beaver
for
tail.
Inside Safe have master contracts with LASA. They are then assigned work based on each of the operations.
Half beaver tail?
And then our office monitors the work and the amount of and the dollars that should be expended per project. So it's ongoing as needed as additional operations are implemented.
Okay, so it's fluid,
Correct.
to your point, it's
Yes.
ongoing. In the report that I read in the council file, number 23-0033, it says that we're paying roughly about $154 per bed. Per
Rooster, I
night,
think we're on 5.
for the LA Grand in downtown Los Angeles. Do we know what we anticipate what the
1/16th Edgar?
fiscal year spending will be for
no
the,
mushroom,
the
bro.
LA Grand Hotel?
Sure.
Dude, Edgars are majestic,
project
dude. Those mushrooms are majestic.
Total spending
I'm
on
just
LA
jealous
Grand,
I can't have one.
From February 1st through
Fucking
June 30th
jelly.
will be
I want
just
an
over
Edgar.
$11 million. $11,111,000.
I want it like a mean mushroom,
through
though.
June 30th, 2023.
Like it's a
From
no
February
doubter.
to
February 1st.
the end of
through-
fiscal year?
Through the end of the fiscal year, correct.
And are the plans to go from end
I need it to be a no doubter.
fiscal year to the
Like,
end of
or
the
it's a
calendar
deep
year?
mushroom, or like it's like, you know, my hair's cut like a 0 on the side, and it goes out like 4 inches,
The LA Grand.
and the shit's even all the way around, straight, real like tight bowl cut, super shiny.
And then that's the conversation.
Man, I'd give anything to have that shit, dude. Be rocking that bowl. Never wear a hat ever. I'd wear only my in-ears so that way I wouldn't fuck
February
up my
to
mushroom.
Fiscal year 11 or 11 point.
I'd dent it up with these fucking headphones.
Correct.
Okay.
So I would just say to clarify. now,
Halloween wig, yeah.
give
Gotta
you
go to a
snapshot
wig
of
shop.
Where we are in the spending.
Go get me a real.
Set aside for
Go give me a real one, dude.
of the emergency, the declaration of local emergency, and the Inside Safe program.
Be fucking
were
sweet.
intended
I mean,
to-
how funny would it be going into a legit wig shop and asking them for like the deepest mushroom?
Any conversation
You know, the
about,
chicks laughing at me.
about operations
Is it for
and
you?
expenditures, that'll
Well,
be
yeah.
a conversation.
Well, why? Man, because that
During the
shit's
budget
hot.
process. Do we know through the
Get one
3
with a chin
points
strap.
how quickly we are taking
It's so dope.
our unhoused individuals?
Have one with a
from
chin
the
strap.
Grand Hotel, for example, to
Oh,
housing
shit,
the
yeah. Wear it around in public and just have people follow you
duration of stay.
quietly and film it.
And if you don't have
See
it right
people's
now,
reaction.
I don't have
Okay.
that information, and in fact, you know, part of the
Like walk up to a bunch of
with
kids that are chilling like some real Edgars. And then, what's up, guys?
subsidies,
Oh,
to this
man.
point, the
They
actual
see the
experience
fucking
is
shit.
limited, so I can't. We won't.
Nice haircut.
Projection on
Yeah, man.
Okay. So obviously,
Do you think they'd all go home and just shave their heads like, oh man, it's not cool no more. Look at
CAO's
this fool.
office, is evaluating whether or not we're getting the best.
Just totally
price,
take it
the
out of
best
its
price
coolness
points.
all in
Whether
one
or not
day.
we do way.
shatter its
We didn't go
coolness.
out for a
You're
public
fucking it up,
bid,
man. Take it
specifically.
off,
I
bro. You're
understand that
fucking it
conspiracy,
up.
So we can get beyond and expedite contracting, sooner rather than later. But I want to know if we're getting any FEMA reimbursements as well for this process.
So as it relates to FEMA reimbursements,
Of course, we need
are
FEMA money. We need to get the grift, man.
because there is some overlap.
Give me some money.
between FEMA eligible operations and services related to the unhoused, and this program, we are evaluating whether we would submit some of these costs, particularly as it relates to the grant for reimbursement. That's an ongoing process.
That'd
FEMA
be
has been
awesome.
very,
Like, his shit's pretty dope, though. Look at that shit.
very strict.
It's like it's
in
shaved
evaluation
almost
of
everywhere
all of our
except for the
submittals
front.
related to
He's got like a half beaver tail in front. It's weird.
I don't have an answer for you on that, but we are evaluating it.
It's got
As it
quarter
relates to
beaver tail up
cost,
front.
The overall cost, and I don't have it immediately available, but
Down with the quarter
extension
beaver
of the
tail.
grant for purposes of Inside Safe was a reduced rate from the rate.
You guys don't like it?
Nice beaver.
For Project Room. So it is, granted, the grant is expensive. It is certainly for room nights are
Portobello
certainly
mushroom
higher
razor. Okay.
than the motels.
It's the
which
new
are
school mullet.
Closer to the $100.
That's
per
the
night
new
range.
2020s mullet.
But there's a utility of the central location of the Grand and its capacity.
It's a
There's no
reverse
other-
mullet.
There's no other hotel that.
It's a reverse ducktail. Ducktail. Woo! Because I remember back in the day, there used to be dudes who'd shave their head.
Mr. President,
Everything shaved, and then in the back, they'd have that
I believe
shit.
that for the
Either real long if they could grow their hair long, right?
LA
Like a
County
ducktail,
was
and then if
contributing,
not, it was just like a
some
poof,
funds
a
and
hair back there.
resources at the roadmap sites.
All shaved, but the
deal
poof.
that was landed
I remember
with the
that.
U.S. federal judge David Carter. and
Kids
a
in
lot
my
of
school
folks on
had
this
it.
horseshoe here participated.
Well, let's see if Drew Smiley can keep his no-hitter, guys. He's pitching here
Any of these locations that we are
through the
using
sixth.
under the
I don't know if he's walked anybody. I don't know if it's a
Inside
perfect
Safe
game, but
operation.
he's definitely
Is
throwing a
LA
no-hitter.
County, are they making any monetary contributions specifically to help cover either services for these individuals or housing services?
So that would depend on the nature of the operation. For example, if at some of the operations, or at least one, the individuals were housed in tiny home villages, and those, if they are, and in this case they were part of the roadmap agreement, the county.
Yeah, he's giving up no walks. He's got a perfect game going.
those units.
He's got a perfect game going, yeah.
Other issue related to
No
funding of
walks,
this program.
no earned runs, no hits,
So
7
we're
Ks
making
through
an
5 innings.
assessment as to what
He's in the
actual
top of the
cost
6th now.
is from,
He's about to walk a batter here.
motel placement services.
It's a 3-2 count here. He may walk this batter and lose the perfect game here. Hopefully he does.
There are a number of areas where there's
Be
overlap,
patient,
where
Trey.
services could be leveraged. We could use already funded services.
Oh, he got him. He fucking K'd him, son of a bitch. And he had 1 second left on that pitch clock. Holy shit. That was a good pitch, man. That was a good pitch. Trey should have hit that, but that was a good pitch. He's dealing today, man. Kid's dealing today. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go in the room, see if I have any Drew Smiley shit. I got to put that stuff up if he throws the no-hitter today. Goes up tonight.
I don't at this time because our evaluation.
Hopefully, Guerrero, but man, I don't know, man. They're not looking good right now. Dodgers have been pretty shoddy last 3 or 4
at this
games.
time, I can't give you a breakdown of every dollar that the county has contributed to the effort.
Now you got Luke Williams, who can't even hit his weight.
I think that I'd appreciate. I think
Thanks,
a lot of
Phillies, for
colleagues
dealing
would
him
appreciate
to us. No wonder you threw him in the trade. Well, you could have Luke. Well, thanks.
Legal agreements,
Worth a bag of balls.
with LA County.
Look at him.
Per the order.
He's about to get another K here. Let's see if Luke strikes out. He's down.
The last question I just have, and I want to go back to LA
Down in
County.
the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Do you have any disaggregated data with regards to
Here it comes.
the number of unhoused individuals
Did he go?
of the
No.
city that have.
Yeah, Bellinger did homer, right? In the third inning.
being temporarily
So did
housed
Mancini.
At the LA Grand Hotel.
In terms of the
Council districts.
I don't have that currently. I don't have that available today.
Ooh, that's all. Just be patient.
You may be able to get that information.
I would appreciate that information because I know that.
That patch of hair is racist, Roberto.
Geographically,
Tell him, Roberto.
House individuals experiencing homelessness that have gone from one district, then another
That's
district, sort of hopping around.
a can of
no fault
corn.
their own specifically, but rather the institutions or
2 outs. There's one more out, guys, and he's gone through 6 innings with a perfect game.
Council districts, that I would very much appreciate. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Austin wins is going to do it, guys.
Councilmember
Hitting
Rodriguez.
111.
Thank you, Mr.
No,
President.
no dingers, 2
Mr. Zubo,
ribbies.
do you
Austin's going to do
anticipate
it.
Getting the data on what the county's portion.
My girl wearing
subsidy
black
that we're
today.
receiving that's supplementing the work that we've,
Telling you, every day she goes to a funeral.
allocation. Do you expect to get those numbers before we go into budget deliberation?
When she wakes up and she gets dressed, all she hears as she's putting on her black dress.
The challenge, frankly, is because this program is beginning in the middle of the fiscal year. And it did begin
She's the Undertaker.
Year.
The
There are
Undertaker.
a number of services through the providers.
I mean, I like to wear black shirts a lot, yeah, as you guys see.
There are subsidies. That
I
are
get it.
already
It makes you,
funded,
it's
and
slimming.
As we move forward with these operations, the mayor's office and the county have been
And even I wear
available
colors
first
sometimes.
before funding things that are new. So it will take some doing to kind of
Other colors than black, of course.
But certainly there is some contribution.
Roseanne making a comeback.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, as I was just skimming.
She
and
kind of does
just
look.
got
She
up
got
there,
that Roseanne
as I
vibe.
was skimming and trying to ascertain, because it appears very duplicative to the services that are already supposed to be provided by the county. Services
Can I
that we
post the link
already
tree?
should be
Sure, Katie.
Garnering through the work of LASA, and let's be honest, we have more than an
There it is, right
abundance
there, bud.
of outreach services. We are outreach rich and housing poor. And so when I see
Oh,
outreach services,
it's gonna drop.
it
No, it's not.
causes me great
Damn,
concern
through
because
6,
it
it's a
feels,
perfect game.
as added
Now it's
to
kind of getting.
resources
Now,
that we
look.
already have.
Now it's the pressure on every player too, because every player too now is gonna, they're gonna, they don't want to miss that fucking ball, man, because they're gonna be the one now that fucks that dude on the fucking perfect game, a no hitter.
Before we,
A lot of pressure now.
budget deliberations, and we know that
Dodgers
the
are gonna
board
come
has
back,
shifted
though. You'll see.
responsibility, and I think Mr. Moylan,
Dodgers are gonna score 13th
yesterday,
in the 9th.
I think it's
13 in the
very
9th.
important that we
Come
continue to
back.
hold accountable the services of the county that they're supposed to provide, because it does feel like our constituents and the residents of Los Angeles and the taxpayers of Los Angeles are paying twice for services.
Shout out to the greatest cubby ever.
Holy cow!
I mean, really, it's Ernie Banks. It's Mr. Cubby, but the second greatest cubby ever.
But also because of the supplemental.
Good old Harry Carey.
Have,
High pop fly. That one be a home run in a phone booth.
that we are providing through the
Oh, shit, yeah.
this emergency order. So I really look forward to getting more details.
Hi, Pop Fly. He was drunk as fuck right there.
Has been absent in a lot of these efforts, and so
He
I'm,
was
really eager
skunked.
to see more of these details before we commence with the budget deliberations, which obviously are beginning next week. So really
Rhino?
eager to see that.
No, there's no rhinos here. They're all Democrats. There's no
Okay,
Republicans
any other
here.
discussion on this item?
I don't think a Republican's
Clerk,
allowed in
let's
this
close the
room.
roll, Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
He was 1 in a million,
That
Randy.
measure passes.
He was an absolute treasure.
Mr. Clerk,
You know,
can
everybody
you
has a
announce the
treasure
vote?
throughout
Yes,
their
sir. For
city
item 18,
usually.
Councilmember Harris
Mike
Dawson
Lang in
wishes to bring
Pittsburgh,
vote
Harry
from a
Carey
no
in
to an
Chicago.
aye, which
There's a lot of
determines
greats.
the outcome of the council vote.
You know,
The vote tally
it's
for
not
this
just the
item is
greats
now
here that
12
we have
ayes
like
and
Chick
1 no.
Hearn and Vince Scully.
All right, that shall be the order.
You know, we've had a lot of
What is next
greats.
before us, Mr. Clerk?
You know,
The
Trevor
council may now
Denman.
Consider item 12 called special by Councilmember Park for remarks.
Councilmember Park.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Bob Euchre was
Colleagues,
great.
Today, I rise in support of AB 28, which would enact a tax on firearm and ammunition purchases.
Tax, more tax.
Really, no one should profit from death. Already in 2023, our nation has surpassed 120 mass shootings. That's more than one per day. And just this week alone, we've already seen 4. While each new headline has the potential to numb and desensitize us further, the work of addressing gun violence must continue with the urgency that this public health and public safety crisis presents.
Oh, you meant
to
Rhino,
every
so
single
Ryan
member
Sandberg.
of
My
our
apologies. My apologies.
I hope that today's action will be more than just symbolic and throw our city's weight behind
Ryan.
the passage of a bill that failed last year so that we can put this revenue towards saving lives and preventing further senseless acts of gun violence. Thank you, and I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you,
So
Councilmember
putting
Park. Any
sales
other
tax,
comments?
just
Members?
further tax on
Seeing none, let's
ammunition
open
is
the
going to
roll.
stop mass shootings.
Close
Right.
the roll and tabulate the vote.
They won't be able to afford it. An idiot moron.
13 ayes.
A fucking fool.
Thank you.
Just
What's
another
next,
way to get
Mr.
the
Clerk?
grift going. Let's get the
Mr.
grift
President,
going.
the
Everybody
council
vote
may
in
now
on it.
consider item 13, called special by Councilmember Lee for comments and a separate vote.
Does she realize that there's people that
Councilmember
can
Lee,
make their
floor
own?
is yours, sir.
There's
Thank
so
you,
many
Mr.
people that are
President.
into
Colleagues,
guns,
when,
make their own
SB
ammo.
8,
They
9,
repack
and
their
10
own
was before us.
bullets.
We voted against it, not because we were.
So what do you do to
against
them?
What it was allowing the bill to do in our neighborhoods,
Moron.
but because it was taking our local control away. If what was before us was to allow us as council members to rezone religious properties automatically, I think we'd all vote for it. But again, this is another instance where Sacramento is trying to take our control away and make the best decisions, what they think are the best decisions for our communities, when we all know, as members of this council, no one better at the local level knows our communities better than us.
Really? We know what's best for you, not
we are
them.
all trying to do our part to create housing in our district. We have always as a body argued against them taking our control away. We have community plans and the housing element before us.
Commie.
Let's use that as a tool to move forward and not let Sacramento take this power away from the people who can make the best decisions about our communities, and that is all of us. So thank you, colleagues. I urge a no vote on this item.
This motherfucker's telling me.
Thank you. Any
It's
other
not Sacramento,
comments,
the
members?
governor. It's us. We know
Seeing
what's
none,
best
let's
for
open
you.
the roll.
Apparently,
Close the roll. and
we know what's
tabulate the
best
vote.
for you. It's insane. That's what he
12
just
ayes,
said.
1 no.
Did I make that up? We know what's best for you, not you. You don't know what's best for your community. We
Councilman
know
Lee,
what's
are you a
best
no
for
on
your
this one, or
community.
I
have you
obviously would like to
changed
change
your
my vote
mind?
to no.
Commies. Fucking
Let
commies.
the
It's
vote
my
reflect
way or the
And
highway.
for the record, the vote tally is 11 ayes and 2 noes.
Okay. Thank you. What's next, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. President, the council may now consider item 21, which has amending motions introduced. 21A is a motion Hutt, Lee, Harris Dawson. 21B, motion De Leon Rodriguez. And 21C, motion Hernandez for Rahman, Soto Martinez. Does the council wish to consider and vote on these motions as
That
separate
diaper
votes?
is
Yes,
massive.
let's take a separate vote.
Probably smells like shit in that diaper too.
The council may now vote on.
Councilmember Blumenfield.
Thank
the
you.
floor before we-
In fact, I'd like to bring the CAO to the table for this item.
Fuck, 13-0 Cubbies.
CAO in the
So,
house?
and I rise in support of the motion as amended with all the amendments that are out there. But I do want to raise some process issues generally and ask the CAO about them. Again, even though I am supporting the motion and the amendments. But as a city, we've
Mancini,
attempted
man.
to develop a list of competitive
3 for
grant
3 today, I
applications
think
based on
Mancini.
established
Home
priorities
run.
and move away from
Double.
just submitting
He's
applications
going to hit
for
the
every
cycle,
council
Mancini.
priority.
He's a triple away from the cycle,
After
I think,
round
Mancini.
one,
Trey
I had
Mancini.
a motion specifically directing the department to solicit each council office for projects so that we could have a process to do this. Here we have CAO developed a list of 3 projects, and now we have 3 mayor and
I don't think that's ever been done. A no-hitter, or definitely not a perfect game where somebody on the other team obviously hit for the cycle. I mean, the cycle is very tough to hit for. That is not many people hit for the cycle. And for the ones that don't know what the cycle is, that's getting basically a home run, a double, a triple, and a single all in the same game. The triple's the hardest one to get, and he's got all of them but the triple now. And he's still, I mean, they're in the bottom of the 6th inning. He's going to come up 2 times easy. So they'll have at least 2 more chances to get a triple, regardless of what goes on with the perfect game.
want to do. So I have a couple of questions for the CAO, really just so that we go into this with our eyes wide open. First, what is the city required match for all the projects?
Oh, my bad. He didn't. I'm sorry. He didn't double. Say that doubled. He has 2 singles and a dinger.
A little closer to the microphone.
My bad.
Thank you.
Still 3 for 3.
Hear me better this way? Okay.
Still has a chance at the cycle, too.
Ron
Still has
with
2
the
more
office
at bats.
of
Just needs a
and
double and a
Councilmember
triple.
Answer to a question for this grant process will depend upon the level of the disadvantaged neighborhood that the project is located within. So the more disadvantaged the neighborhood, the lower the city match will be. And the local match will range anywhere from 50% to 0. So the match itself will depend on how the grant is actually described.
Embarrassed for the
and
Dodgers, you
where it's
know.
located
Every
and
team
what the
has those
implications
games
of
every
what
once in a
goes
while. It
So
is
do
embarrassing.
a range.
but-
I mean, again, this isn't big dollars that we're talking about,
The
so
maximum-
that's why I'm happy to
Correct.
support these. But
Correct. The maximum grant would be $5 million, so the maximum match in any case would be $2.5 million. Obviously, we would want to minimize the match or have no match if possible for any of these projects.
and what would be the source of funds for the matching?
I think that would have to yet be determined. If we get the award, we would have to determine where the funding would come for the match and for any front funding that would be necessary. I think that's why in the report before you, we're recommending that you only provide authority for departments to apply.
Chilly, and
If
yeah,
they
it's
get
chilly and the
award
wind's
match,
blowing
then
out.
Departments
So
come
it's-
back.
That's why
to
the balls are
council
flying
with,
out, you know.
A request to accept the award.
But
and in the
they're
process,
not
we
doing
would
that
talk
for the
to our
Dodgers because he's
office to
dealing
try and
Drew
identify
Smith. He's throwing a
any
no-hitter
match
for a
funding
reason.
Or front funding necessary
Pitching
to,
well.
to implement the award.
Right. At the same time, realistically, if we apply for a grant and we get it,
that's the
we're going to
inning.
find the matching money, because to do otherwise would disadvantage us for the future grants.
Top
as
of the
well. So
7th we
are-
go.
we're in effect-
13
we are-
runs on
we are
16 hits. The
spending
Dodgers
money,
no
we're
runs on
allocating
no
money,
hits.
But that's for a good reason. And do we know whether the
16
departments have the
hits.
staffing and other capacities
Jesus
to
Christ.
administer all these?
Dodgers pitching
So the
is getting
departments that
tattooed.
have brought forth their grant applications in the CAO report have told us
That's
that they
16
believe they
hits
can.
through 6 innings.
For the 3 projects and the motions that are before you, I don't know the answer to that. So we'd have to ask the
Hysterical.
town
I still love my
manager.
Dodgers.
I
We all
would
go through it.
assume that the
We'll get 'em
departments
next
will
game.
not agree to apply for them.
Hopefully.
Without having some sense that they could administer them.
Although we're not asking them to agree, we're telling them.
Top of the order, too. I
I mean,
give
there
it
is a
notice.
slight That's the difference.
That always
here, is
makes
when
things
we
better,
do it
too, right, Black?
Through a council motion outside of the process, we're not asking, we're telling.
Correct.
And we're telling without knowing if they have the staffing to do it.
You know, my understanding is there is a.
All right, guys, I'd rather watch paint dry. Honestly, I'd rather seriously watch paint dry, go in the room and list cards. So that's what I'm going to do. You guys go and have a good day. Enjoy your Friday. Remember, we're not on tonight. We're on tomorrow night. Since we were on for 420 yesterday, we're not on tonight, but we're on tomorrow night. So join us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for the Saturday night special. Enjoy your Friday night away from me. Get out, have some fun, be safe. So that way you can come back on Saturday and join the fam. But I really do appreciate all the love within the room and for me and everybody else, man. So thank you for all the likes, the love, and the donos and the good time. So enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, man. What the fuck? You're just leaving? Roberto, I've only been on 5 hours. Been on 3 hours, Roberto. And these dudes are done. All the excitement's done. Now these dickheads just talking garbage. All the fun is the people calling in, Roberto. That's the fun. That's the meat. This is the fat. Think of a steak, right? So steaks have you gotta cut the fat out, right? You know what I mean? This is the fat. You don't really want to eat the fat when you're eating steak. You want to eat the nice portion that's not fatty. And I'm giving you that when it comes to and the citizens are giving you that really. I'm just showing it to you. You know what I mean? And that's really what it boils down to. That's why we watch this shit. As crazy as some of these people are, they're entertaining. Some of them are not. It is what it is. But that's where the heart lies. So enjoy your day. Okay, you guys be good. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Good night, everybody.
Well, y'all come back now, you hear?
That's it.